Hypocrisy.
I hope you die in prison as well.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Law-Splaining the Interwebs. I am your super late host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. I am sorry that we have such a late start today. It was not intentional, but I was just passed out. Absolutely passed out. Fell asleep while sitting in bed because I've had a really short night last night for some weird reason. I'll blame it on the English, I guess. But yes, I had a really short night last night and had driving to do today and a whole bunch of errands. But now here we are. Ready to go. All right. So the show tonight is going to be a little bit, it's going to be kind of laid back in a way. Last night was a wild experience. I guess I chose to have a discussion that kind of devolved out of discussion territory really, really quick with this guy, Duncan MacLeod, about, I don't know, trans stuff or something. It was kind of a nebulous topic and a nebulous discussion, which is why it went pretty much everywhere. And I'm not quite sure what it was supposed to be, but I'll show you guys, I guess, I think I might have showed it last night. I don't know, or talked about it, but I'll show you the origin of the discussion and we'll see. Maybe I stayed on topic. Maybe the topic didn't exist in the first place. I'm not sure, but I want to use last night's stream to discuss like why I don't really like or do internet debates. Oh, it's never apologize. I'm not apologizing. Well, I was apologizing for being late. I guess that's true. I've also got super chats from earlier today. I was doing a very cool low-key painting stream with Heel versus Babyface, otherwise known as and Sargon. More appropriately known as Carl from now on. We were just painting and talking shit and having fun. And then we had a new fridge delivered. Because we had first world problems. We had two fridges. The previous owners had a fridge out in the garage as well as the fridge in the house. And so it was really nice, except the fridge in the garage broke, which wasn't the worst thing in the world. It just went, to having one fridge or whatever, which is nice. Actually, yeah. Well, never mind. But just went to having the primary fridge, which is good. Technically, I have three fridges, I guess. I don't know. The previous owners are weird. But that being said, so we had all these fucking refrigerators. The one out in the garage broke, which is annoying because that's like the party fridge. You keep all the drinks and stuff out there, and they're cold and they're ready to go whenever. You keep most of the food inside, and it's lovely. But with that fridge being broken, it was like, okay, well, we just have the one fridge and we have a downstairs fridge for the kids. Well, the water and ice in the main fridge broke. And then we had all this stuff where basically I wanted to get one of those fridges with a damn tablet locked in it so we can have our calendars available at all times for everybody. See everybody's shit all the time and just have everybody's calendars updated and displayed on the fridge so that we all know what everybody's doing. Make sense? I love refrigerators. So I order this Samsung fridge because they had a sale going. They always have a damn sale going. But I order this Samsung fridge with the fucking tablet in it. And it's like, cool. And we've been waiting for a little bit for it to come. And of course, it had to come today while I was on the show with Az and Sargon. Not a big problem. So the way this works is when you order something from Samsung, they have local partner delivery companies that they work with. Ours happens to be full of guys who don't speak any English at all and aren't actually great at doing what they do. Like, for example, when we got our washer and dryer not terribly long ago, they forgot to take the shipping bolts out of the washer. And so then we ran the washer and it like ripped up some of the plastic from inside. So we had to get another one sent out because they just forgot. And they do the install, right? Like they put the fucking washer where it goes. Anyway, they don't know what they're doing and they don't speak English, which is just a huge disaster. So I'm trying to do the show. Lady Raggets knows we want them to take the fridge, our main fridge, which still functions aside from the ice and water, because that doesn't matter. We want, well, the water worked, but the ice and never mind. We want them to take that one out, put that one in the garage, take the garage one, make a house for a homeless person out of it, and then put the new fridge where the fridge in the kitchen where it belongs, right? Because the new fridge is female. So Lady Raggets knows. They get here. They don't fucking understand a word she says about like putting where the fridges go. Because it's not just a normal fridge swap. And then they never told us anything. But I'm like, well, we're keeping the fridge with all this stuff in it. So let's take out the big liquid stuff and anything that could spill, but then just leave everything else in there so they can move the fridge into the garage with the dolly or whatever. Made sense to me. But they apparently are like pissed off because there's some stuff in there. They're like, oh, now it's too heavy. It's like 9 pounds. Like, it's not like a bunch of like 18 gallons of milk. There was actually no gallons of milk or any liquids or anything in there. Some pickles and shit. So then we had to go like quickly clean out the fridge. And I'm on the show. So Lady Raggets asked me for help to clean out the fridge. We get the fridge like cleaned out. They can't get the fucking thing out. It's wedged in there. And Lady Raggets tries to tell him, you have to take the cupboard doors off the cupboards above it. And they say, okay. Okay. Right? Like they have no idea. And she's like, take doors off thing. So she comes and gets me again. So I go up and I like take the doors off. She's like, they're going to leave. They're going to leave without delivering the fridge is what they're telling her because they can't get the fridge out. They're like, well, we can't do it. So we're just going to leave. You don't need your fridge. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm up there like arguing with them. I go and I take the fucking doors off the thing for them. And then miraculously they're able to get the fridge out. And we're like, we know it's like wedged in there. But then they pull the fridge out and they look down and they see that there's a water line connected to the fridge. And they're like, we know this. And then they call their like manager who speaks English kind of, not really, for her to tell us that they don't do that. Now, I don't know if you know, like, you might be a plumber or you might be just a normal person. And I'm like, but connecting the line for water to a fridge is literally this. Like it's just a threaded thing. It's really fucking simple to do this. And they're like, no, Mr. Superman, he no here. Right. And it's like, oh my God. So I'm like, the lady's like, they don't do these, they don't do these. They don't do water. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Have some other company come do it? Like what the hell? And then I figured out, I'm like, I'll just do it. Can give me 5 seconds to get pliers, right? Like this is easy to do. It's just screwing a thing onto another thing. Like you do this you do this. Here, look. I changed the water line for my fridge. Well, I took it off the old one and I just put it on the new one. There. It's all it is. And so I'm like, I'll just do it. This is so fucking easy. So I get back behind the fridge and I undo the line. And then they're like, oh, okay. Then they take the fridge out and they do everything. They bring the new fridge in and they look at me like a puppy until I attach. Well, then the guy's like, it is different, like on the connector. And it wasn't different at all. It's just this one had a longer hose in a different place. It was literally the exact same connection. And so I go back and I'm like, don't worry about it. They got the fridge mostly in place. So it's like, I just go back and screw it in and push the fridge back and miracle. It's done. It's like the easiest fucking thing in the world. And I'm like, I'm yelling at the lady on the phone. I'm like, what do you mean they don't do fridges with water lines? Like, how do you guys deliver refrigerators in 2022 if you don't touch the water line? Like, if you can't unscrew it or screw it back in, like, how do you do this as a profession? Now, mind you, they hooked up the washer and dryer, which is way more complicated. It's not that complicated, but it's way more complicated than a fucking fridge water line, and it involves a shitload of water. It was like, it was insane. It was nuts. Sounds like you need a handyman. I work for cheap. Like, really, Minnesota, if you're a handyman who works for cheap, I have a shitload of projects. Literally, if you want to come work on a whole bunch of them, I've got a ton of things that I'll pay someone to do because I just don't have time. But it was just crazy. So I had to end the show early. That's the long and short of this, to deal with this catastrophe of a fridge delivery. And so I missed a bunch of the super chats from earlier today. We're going to get those knocked out on this show as well. And then I have a couple like just little short legal stories, just some comfy stuff, some interesting stuff that I've saved over the past couple days and haven't gotten to. Tomorrow night is Thursday night. Will be an interview with Steve Gosney, half Irish. I think I've got a new architect. Yeah. How close am I to Minneapolis again? 2 hours. Anyway, tomorrow night is Steve Gosney. He is a public defender down in Florida. He's been on the show before with Andrew Branca and I, and he and I are going to talk about a case that he was working on that got resolved. It's kind of an interesting case, and we're going to holy shit. And we are going to talk about public defense in general, the goods, the bads, the realities of it, what public defenders do, and all this stuff. I think it's always a pertinent conversation to talk about that. What am I looking for? Oh shit. I've got so many Duncan McLeod things. All right, well, I'll have to worry about this. Here we go. I've got something to do a little bit later in the show. Okay, so with that, that's the format of the show. Steve Gosney tomorrow, and then Friday there will probably not be a stream because that is the beginning of our our family camp weekend over Labor Day, where Lady Rackets and I take the kids. We go meet up with a bunch of people from her family, and we are at camp for the next couple days. So streams will be back on Monday night, if not some other time sooner. But typically, it's going to be Monday night that we'll have streaming again. All right. I think that's covered everything. People on the docket to talk to. Flawdzilla is on my short list of people to get a hold of and plan a show with. Dollhouse Phil, of course, want to have a show with Dollhouse Phil. There are others as well. Those are the two that are on the top of my head canon right now. Camp Sleepaway with the counselor named Voorhees. Yes, that would be great. So you need us to rescue you this weekend is what you're saying? Blink twice if yes? That's ridiculous. That would be insane. Why would I need rescuing from the family camp? What about my family? My parents aren't able to make it this year. They've come out several times in the past. This year they're not able to make it. And we have an event with them the next weekend. So, yeah. Okay. What happened to the dumpster trial? Wasn't it supposed to be in August? I mean, kind of. It was. No, I mean, not kind of. It definitely was supposed to be in August. However, it was delayed. There's another murder trial in that same courthouse that got scheduled in there, had to happen first. And so the dumpster defenders got pushed to hopefully early 2023, which sucks. Attorney Tom says, drink my whiskey, soy boy. I will, but only with you on the show. And you're not on the show because you're a bigot. Actually, you're a little it. That's right. You're a small it. Not a Jesse Smollett, but a small ot. Not a big ot. But I really want to drink that whiskey, actually. So, with that, let's kind of hit these super chats. Oh gosh, I'm going to start with the ones on Odyssey and Rumble, and then we'll get. I'm not going to do all of the super chats. I'm going to do those because, long story short, they'll disappear eventually, and I want to get them done, and then we'll go to the debate stuff. The murder trial ended today that took the place of the dumpster bros. Yeah, but the way court scheduling is, if once they canceled it, it probably was like 5 months out before they could schedule anything again, at least. So, especially a multi-day trial. That's the problem. Multi-day trials just take so much resources and court calendar time. Okay, so El Gonzo 1000 says, high school graduates that can't read. Gee, Nikki, why are you picking on Gary? Because I'm rude. He also says, careful, Carl, you might get a sandwich you're not into. That's never happened. No one's ever gotten sandwiched unintentionally. Chanksaw Tom says, your guest last night lied on phraseology. Yes, my guest last night lied, full stop. You could just full stop. It was if a preview for, here's what my guest last night wanted to do. So he admitted to one thing. He admitted that he thought I would not answer his DMs, and he was going to be a super fucking hero. He's going to be a super fucking hero for bravely challenging me in DMs and getting ignored because I was scared. Rather than this fucker knowing the truth, because like Duncan has been on social media for a long time. He has whatever, like, it's not the biggest channel in the world, but it doesn't matter. Once you start to get over 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 people following you, you start to get a lot more social media messages and interactions than you otherwise would. Duncan knows that it was likely that I would miss his DM entirely rather than, which he would phrase as ghosting. He was dishonest from the start about what he wanted to. I mean, he was honest about him wanting to do that. He was dishonest about what was happening because I don't know. That's just the way he wanted to do it. He's looking for clout from the Keffels Cuntionists. Okay. So that was his initial intent. Once I answered and said, yeah, let's do it on the show tonight, if you're up for it, and he agreed, he suddenly needed a new purpose. And he didn't talk about this one, but I'm going to fucking say what the truth is. Duncan's entire purpose was to get me to say something that could be construed into an admission of somehow threatening Keffels' life, which never happened. Not at all. So knowing this was the purpose, I had to be extremely cautious about how I answered questions, particularly when it involved what I meant when I said what I said. All right. I know some people out there, and shout out to the Kiwi Farms. My thread grew more than my penis. Like, it was huge. Just a huge, terrific, tremendous thread, really remarkable thread. Last night, lots of activity on there. And I know there were some people that were dissatisfied with my answer. Without regards to whatever may be the ultimate thing there, the thing that had to not happen, was to have any ability for Duncan to clip a thing and go, see, he threatened violence. Because at the end of the day, the most important thing, no matter what anybody thinks the meaning of anything is, I didn't threaten violence against Keffels. And there's a whole lot of meanings for what I said. People use this expression for all sorts of stuff. I use it for all sorts of stuff. But there was no call for violence because, as stated millions of times, I don't believe in violence. But that doesn't stop these people, or I don't believe in political violence, right? Like, that's the key. But that doesn't stop these people from exploiting and lying about someone to remove them from their ability to make income and stuff like that. So fuck them. I'm not going to give them that. But that's what that was. And so to everybody on the forum who was dissatisfied with that, like, I guess maybe you'll have to be dissatisfied with it. That's okay. But if you may not have realized that, like, his purpose was to, like, extract that from me. 1 million people, actually probably like 5, but like 5, 7, some number of people, around 5, were trying to get me to respond on Twitter to that very question. What do you mean exactly about this thing? And they want you to explain it in enough detail that they can sever context, that they can get rid of nuance, that there's no good faith in the discussion. So you cannot answer with any level of good faith. You can't do it because they're out to kill you while you are out to explain yourself. Never give them that explanation in full. Like, they don't deserve it because they're dishonest brokers. And this is another thing about internet debates that is really fucking stupid and why I hate them. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. Almost done with these initial super chats. But he says, Up Against the Wall has a root. I think he says, in communism for impromptu executions by Bolsheviks, not Nazis. Yeah, I've never heard of the Nazi Up Against the Wall thing. He like pulled up something where that's the origin. I'm sure it was from motherjones.com or something. But no, I mean, the most common places I've seen it in regards to what he was talking about has involved communists. But it's not the only route in Norwegian, Scandinavian countries. The same phrase means to forcibly and publicly confront someone with hard facts and truths. Yeah, there's a shitload of meanings about going up against the wall, which I also didn't say up against the wall. I said go on the wall. And there's lots of walls with lots of pictures out there. And some walls have maps. Maps make excellent wall decor. I would love to decorate walls with maps. Chank says, often as a point of criticizing someone's social political behavior. All that aside, it's also something you've never said. The phrase here is always on the wall. I'll tolerate a lot from commie cocksleeves, but etymological revisionism ain't one. But thank you, Chank, for pointing that out. I hadn't read the second chat there, so I didn't see that he had made that point. Very, very correct. Nick Firefox says, Nick, you need to do a Piper Perry stream. Have Drex, lead attorney, Nate the lawyer, Young Ripa, Epic Mike, and any other token black friends on and just shoot the shit. Have them all on the top row and you on the bottom, but everyone has to wear a plain white t-shirt. That's funny. That's very funny. That's a great idea. Irby says, here's your reward for BTFOing emaciated beta bong commie groomer sympathizers the other night, and while drunk nonetheless. Also, hey chat, Nick really loves his screwball peanut butter whiskey. Send it to him. Gross. Purge yourself, Irby, from the chat. Okay. Heel versus Babyface. Face's sad micro penis says, I'm a bit down today. I hope the stream will prick me up a bit. No, poor Az. And then Macro Mental says, Salty Cracker constantly gives Ricada huge props. Well, very, very nice of Salty to do so. Thank you, Salty. Okay. On debates. Whew. Lots of people like to do this internet debate thing. Like Destiny does internet debates, right? Mr. Girl does internet debates. I guess Vaush maybe does internet. I don't know. Does Vaush do anything other than harpoon a whale? Like, I'm not sure anymore. But these people do these debate format things. And the debate format on the internet is this weird. It's this weird thing where there's no like neutral ground. I mean, I guess you can have a third party moderator that might have neutrality, but then if you have like a third party moderator, I don't know, they're either on the side of one person or the other as the moderator, which subsequently means the chat will likely be on one side or the other. And you have to overcome that with like the size of the guests. And one of those guests has to bring a disproportionate number of their audience to balance out the chat, so to speak. So the chat adds this weird factor to live internet debates because there is some home turf feel. And for some people, like I don't care. I would go on the kill stream, for example, and discuss things with people. I'm not, again, I don't like doing it, but if a friend asks me, I might do that from time to time, or not even a friend, but if someone just asks me politely, I might go ahead and do it, if I have the time, but I don't want to. I'd rather just discuss things in a very friendly, cordial manner. I don't know if you guys know this about me or notice this, but I try to talk to guests like just for fun. I like talking to people. I enjoy hearing other people's thoughts and opinions on things. I really enjoy hearing other people's stories. I love when people tell stories to me about like something that happened in their life or whatever, or something that they were involved in. Like, that's interesting because that's shit that I didn't do. So I like that. And I love that format, even if we disagree on stuff. But I try to be pretty friendly to people for the most part, because I just find it's a more fulfilling way of handling things. And that's more my style. I'm a likable motherfucker. All right. You love me. I just, that's what I want to do. So I don't like doing the internet debate thing because the chat gets involved at some level, and it adds this weird dynamic. Whether or not the chat has direct influence over anything, the people involved are thinking about the chat, maybe reading the chat, maybe getting blasted or not blasted by the chat, oftentimes deservedly so. But like I would go on the kill stream and there were people on the kill stream who liked me and there were a bunch of people who really didn't. Called me a big nosed Jew all the time or whatever, which is fine. Like I don't care. But it adds this weird sort of dynamic to the discussion, which would otherwise just be a discussion. But that's the entertainment, right? Like that is the entertainment value. That's why the chat exists and why the chat likes the show is because they get to say, no, you're a fucking retard to whoever. That's cool. And I love that about it. Like I love the chat in general and the ability to do that. But I don't like starting off a conversation confrontationally. Don't do that. Or I don't like to do that at all because I just like to be on good terms with people. I think it's easier. Yesterday's conversation got very unfriendly very quickly. And we may go back and I don't know if I want to actually pull up I don't know if I actually want to pull up the stream or not to review it. But what happened last night was this. Pre-stream. So we had let me pull up the conversation. Not going to pull up the stream. I want to pull up the DMs. And no, I did not get permission from Duncan McLeod to share this DM. And I don't really, who fucking cares? There's nothing secret or special in it at all. Let's see. Here we go. But I want to, and I think I might have. Fucking Twitter. I think I might have shared this yesterday anyway, but I'm going to share it again because this is important. So here's how this goes. All right. So Knox says he was hostile from the outset. He was not acting in good faith. Oh, I know. But look, he was hostile from his first message. And when I had him read this message, because whatever reason this came up, he edited out the uncomfortable middle section. He just decided to edit it out that his first message on this thing was an attack. That was the whole purpose. And that's where we got to him saying, well, I thought you would ghost me and blah, blah, blah. So here's his message. Hey, since you seem to have a strong opinion on the Kiwi Farm situation, would you be willing to get in a call and debate the topic? This was a fine thing to ask. And he could have just done that. And I would have probably answered him in the same way or like the same with a yes, because, it doesn't always work this way, but you've got this, he's got, this, it's like, okay, so this is probably a content creator or something of some sort. I don't know. We'll check it out maybe. And if I have time, do the debate. If you see it, this is, but he follows. I know you love to have people who agree with you on. Well, I mean, I kind of do. But there's an implication here that I wouldn't have people who disagree with me on, which is silly. But I wonder if you'd be able to handle a conversation with someone on the other side. Just let me know. And when he read this, he didn't read this part. Like he just tried to pretend that part of the message wasn't real. And so I made him read the fucking words and he finally did. But that was kind of the slimy nature of it right to start. It's like, oh, okay. So I respond, I'm open to discussions with people who disagree all the time. I just don't do debates because internet debates are boring. But yeah, man, if you want to discuss an alternative perspective on Kiwi Farms, sure. Because again, I want to keep it cordial. I really do. Look, and it's against my best interests to keep these conversations cordial. The chat loves a bloodbath, no matter whose it is. They do. It's very profitable. It's good for views and clicks and internet rumblings and discussions and everything. It's very good for exposure and business to have a bloodbath because people miss bloodbaths of debates, but they're not really that fun a lot of times. They can be very exhausting too. So So I prefer to keep it cordial against my better interest. This is cool. Let me know when it's a good time for you and we can set it up. I just generally prefer to avoid confrontational encounters, especially on my own channel, because I don't want my chat to bully someone based on biases. Now I have these in quotes because this is what people claim, right? I was bullied by the chat. Well, you came on and said something stupid intentionally, like they're going to respond. But I don't want the thing. The setup is, especially with this opening line, the setup is to cry foul immediately. I stream every weeknight at 11 p.m. Central. We could do tonight if you want. I'm not worried about being bullied by your chat. Smiley face. Oh, he's got this fucking smiley face thing going on. So it's like a Ron Toye situation. Don't worry. I don't think it's an issue at all. Wasn't it an issue? Was it not an issue? You just got tired and had to leave. Oh my God, my wife is calling me. Yeah. No, I'm really stuck in this debate. I can't. I gotta go. Like, okay, got it. Sure. That would be 3 hours from now for the thing. Yeah. Cool. I can do that. I'll get a nap and see you then. Does Discord work for you? I usually use StreamYard. Would that work? You're a streamer, so I figure fine being on camera. I've never used it, but I'll download it now. Yeah, I'm fine being on camera. It's all browser-based, real simple. I'll set it up and send you a link. Cool. Works for me. Cool. See you in 2 hours, 39 minutes. Will be neat to meet you. Here's the StreamYard thing. Not live yet. We'll pre-show first and make sure tech is working. So very basic, cordial conversation. That leads us to the pre-show. It took... John Scott says his wife came into the Twitch chat telling him to leave because he was getting destroyed. Oh, boy. So that leads to the pre-show. Now, this show started late yesterday. And the reason I was there early, by the way, but the reason it started late is because he's not used to using StreamYard. He uses Discord and OBS, which is fine. But StreamYard's really simple because it's in your browser. You give it access to your camera and microphone, and things just function like okay. Now, I have all sorts of audio issues and other shit with StreamYard. I've made those very, very clear. But like the idea that you just click in your camera and microphone, as long as you pick the right ones in settings, works just fine. He shows up, and I see his chat overlay going, and his chat's going. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I guess he's going to be streaming this too. Now, he didn't tell me that he would be streaming. Not a problem if he wanted to multi-stream it or whatever, but he didn't say it. And I don't think he meant for me to know. But he didn't say it. The problem and why the show took so long to start was because he was trying to find a way to get his camera to show through, but not his overlay from his stream. And he couldn't do it before I got on there to help him. He wasn't able to get that done, but I talked him through getting his camera going because he had the whole thing, and he was trying to get it to where it would be that he didn't know, I guess, that you can't use a camera, like the camera itself in two programs at once, because whoever coded the camera codecs or like the webcam protocol or whatever the fuck it's called for Windows and Mac, like they're dumb. So only one program can use a camera at a time. Like every program can use the same microphone and basically every other thing that plugs into your computer, but cameras, oh, heaven fucking forbid that work. So with the camera, unless you have like if you have a really fancy setup with like Thunderbolt imports and inputs and stuff, like maybe you could do it that way. But if you're running things through USB, like as a webcam or using an Elgato Cam Link, which works as a webcam, that you can't. And I don't know why, but you just can't. And so what you can do is you can get software like I use currently. I'm using OBS, so I can do like this, right? Because I have OBS running a virtual camera that's piped into StreamYard because the lens I have in this camera is way too wide for the shot that I'm doing. So I have to crop it down quite a bit. Otherwise there'd be like floor and shit all over. It's a mess. But anyway, so yeah, so he was trying to do this and he thought maybe he could run his camera, like he could get StreamYard to grab the camera while OBS was grabbing the camera for his stream. What he didn't figure out is if you have to run like OBS and StreamYard OBS, have one of them virtual camera into the other. It's a pain in the fucking dick, but you can do it. But he wasn't prepared for that. That's what took so fucking long for the show to start yesterday. Well, I'm sitting there saying we're working out tech issues. That was the tech issue, was trying to get it so this motherfucker could stream, but not let people know that he was streaming or whatever. But at the end of the day, I don't care. So during this downtime, during his downtime, I said, well, here's what I'd like to do with the conversation. Because again, not really looking for a debate. I said, I don't know you at all. So I'd like to get to know you, like figure out who you are, have a discussion about like what you do on YouTube or Twitch or whatever, kind of just, and we'll work into a conversation and we'll I'll interview you basically. And then we can get to the Kiwi Farm stuff and talk about it. It'll be very nice. And he's like, yeah, that sounds fine. He's like, I just want to get some basic principles down before we really get into it with some opening positions, because I've been accused, go figure, shocker, I've been accused of misrepresenting people in the past. So I want to get very clear from the onset what the opening positions are. And I'm like, yeah, I figured that'll be fine. Once I get to know you, we can move into that or whatever. So I thought we were in agreement on how the opening of the show was going to go. It's going to introduce this Duncan MacLeod guy. All I knew about him is he's a Pokemon streamer turned more of a commentator or whatever. I did know that he had called for my channel to be banned from YouTube 3 days prior. I learned that after accepting the debate or whatever. I don't think it particularly matters other than like, this is rich. But I had seen that and stuff. But so what? Like, kind of so what at the end of the day? People say stuff you don't like, but you can still talk to them and maybe they'll change their mind. Like maybe they think I'm a nasty monster and they'll have an epiphany that I'm a really nasty monster. I don't know. We get not 4 minutes into this fucking discussion. I think it's right around 4 or 5 minutes in. And he immediately starts coming at me with these questions. And the way they're worded was very confrontational. And so if you've seen me do these streams in the past, I do them every so often. They're good, but they're also exhausting. So I'm not the biggest fan. But Tonka was the first one. Shane was the next one. Perfection was another one that we did. There might have been another one like this at some point, but where I go on with someone and there's a potential for confrontation. And I try for as long as possible to not engage that confrontation. But if they want to do that, I'll let them do that. The same thing happened here as with Shane, really, was I let him kind of dictate when they wanted to take the gloves off, and both of them were fairly early. Whereas Tonka and Perfection were different sorts of animals than that, but they all kind of have the same running theme. But both Shane and this guy pretty early made it very clear they were there to win their points. Now, Shane was performing for a Discord, and that was an embarrassment for him, especially when they were his Wikipedia. Duncan was performing for his Twitch channel, which Might have been more embarrassing than Shane's Discord, because I think Shane's Discord might have had more viewers than Duncan's Twitch channel did until people from this chat started going to his Twitch channel. Not a big one, or not a big win there. Mad Black, no, I talked to Mad Black on the kill stream, but I didn't do a show on here with him like that. So it was pretty embarrassing in my opinion, but he wanted to be performative, and he had like Googled some articles about some topics by some law firms or something to have the discussion. And this gets to the next thing I hate about internet debates. Somebody's sitting there Googling something during just a fucking discussion, because they suddenly become like evidence bros about everything. I try not to be. Like, I'll take people at their word. I'll take their argument. I'll let them have it, because it's like, it's just irritating to get into this back and forth, like research on the fly and do aha gotchas with stuff. And like I had even started to, but it didn't really matter, because I didn't need to get there. Ultimately, it was he brought up a California penal code against doxing or whatever. But I pointed out as a general statement that the way these things get enforced is they get pared down. Now, I did go back and look. I didn't actually get around to it on the stream, but I'm pretty sure that California penal code against doxing has 0 decisions around it, which means it's not enforced. If you have a provision of a penal code that has no appellate level decisions at it, it is either brand new or it's completely unused. Because one of the first things you do, if you're a novel case, like if you're the first guy getting charged with doxing under California's anti-doxing law, the first thing you do is you challenge the validity, the constitutionality of the law itself. You say this is void for vagueness, this is overbroad, this encompasses other speech-related behavior that is protectable under the First Amendment. A reasonable person cannot possibly decipher what activity is legal or illegal by the wording of this thing. And then the court has to determine if that's true, if it's constitutional, like based on other things. They have to then determine if they need to pare it down. They have to set up a test. They have to set up like a 4 or 5 part test that you'll see with the elements of the crime that have to be proven to bring this thing to fruition. Like, there's always decisions on penal code provisions that are enforced, because the first thing you do as a criminal defense attorney would be to challenge the fucking statute if it's got no legal basis for existing. Like, you might lose, but you got to try, because if you win, you win. you clear the whole calendar real quick if you get a judge say, yeah, this law is bullshit. Struck down. Done. So there's 0 decisions on that law. I don't know if it's just super new or if it's just never enforced, but I can tell you with some level of confidence that if anybody's gone to jail under that law or been criminally fined under that law, it was a plea agreement. And they probably pled to something else. So anyway, but it was, instead of actually like pulling it up and going through it on stream, which would get really fucking boring, I pointed out that there's similar laws in California against encouraging suicide, and those laws have to be pared down by the courts, and they've set up a 5-part test, and it's more than just mere speech. But here's the problem. Like, he had a general statement, which he's not realizing is an ad from a law firm in California that practices criminal law, explaining this statute, and probably like just a general overview of what the statute says, with at the bottom, if you need assistance with a charge under the statute, please contact so-and-so in our criminal division. Like, you can find these little mini articles all over the internet. They're kind of instructive at a very high lay perspective. But remember, the purpose of any The purpose of any explanatory statement about a statute or a crime on a law firm's website is to be an ad to get you to call them to get help. Like, that's what they want you to do. They want you to call them so that you will pay them money. That's why they write these things. Law firms are in the business of making money. If you know, most of them are not giant charity cases. They're very upfront about how expensive their services are because they are very expensive. So he's got this thing. It's not super useful as a piece of evidence, but he's not a law, so who cares? Get to tell him and educate him a little bit, and we could just move on from that. But the next thing that I hate about internet debates is it gets intoxicating. And I'm not even talking about the drinking yet. It gets intoxicating to absolutely destroy someone on a point. So much so that the destruction on a particular point can be distracting from the overall thrust of the conversation. And one of the places where I got mad at myself for getting overly sidetracked was on the nature of what he kept referring to as harassment. He kept saying, Kiwi Farms is a place where people are harassed. And I pressed him a little bit on this, but then things got confrontational on different issues, and we kind of lost the plot on this very, very important question. And in a good civilized conversation, rather than a confrontation or an argument about something or a debate, you can spend a little more time being calm and have a conversation about what harassment is and how it occurs. Because I think a lot of people misunderstand harassment. If I make a website about you and I say the worst shit in the world, short of defamation, I say, you're a piece of garbage. I hate all of your dumb opinions. You're ugly and fat, whatever. Like all these things. I post pictures of you being a fat fucking fatso and an ugly piece of shit, looking like Hassan Piker or whatever, but plus like Hassan Piker 8 Cenk Uyghur. So you're a double communist fucking fatso idiot. Like, if I do that and make that website, that is not harassment. Because unless some extra thing happens, you aren't there. And no one can like force you to be there. Here we go. Hold on. Let me pull this up. Here we go. There's a wise prophet, and this is instructive on harassment, particularly on the internet. Here we go. Tyler, the Creator. Ha 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 ha. How the fuck is cyberbullying real? Binga, just walk away from the screen like Binga, close your eyes. Ha ha ha. Right? Like, yeah. At the end of the day, this summarizes Kiwi Farms. This summarizes Kiwi Farms. Just don't look at it. Oh, like people could say all the offensive or bad takes or whatever about you that they want. They could just say all this shit. And you just do this. And whatever they say over there won't ever matter. For 99.99999% of people who are on the farms. Not just 99.999% of people, but the overwhelming majority of people who have threads on the farms. If they just go like this, they will never see or be harassed by any statement that's made. And I'm using harassment interchangeably here for a reason, but The legal definition of harassment, which is what is typically required to sustain something like a restraining order or to show damages in some way from someone's communication or as a basis for getting people removed, is beyond just, I don't like what they said over there. You have to do something to force the person in some way to engage the content. You have to confront them with the content in the privacy of their own life. You have to invade their property interest in being disinterested. You do this a couple ways. You can call people and remind them where they can see all the bad stuff you're saying about them. You can send them a bunch of direct messages or text messages or something with the link. You can intentionally share the link to someone's employer or to someone's family or in some way invade their quiet enjoyment of life. That is the critically important step of harassment, because me just saying so-and-so's a retard doesn't matter, because so-and-so will never see it, most likely, unless I do something to get it to them. Or I have reasonable certainty that someone acting specifically on my behalf, an agent, if you will somehow give this to them. So like if I were to make some sort of clippable moment to harass someone, and then I said, okay, C Goody, you're a gay boy mod, and you are now my digital hitman. I need you to make sure this guy's mom knows that he wears a diaper and pees in it while he streams. That's what, and he smells the diaper afterward because he's gross. He's also a furry. If I do that and I get someone to do this thing where they go do it, now I have to induce that. I have to request it, incite it, cause it to come about, not incidentally, but intentionally cause this thing to occur. If I do that, then that's a different story. That's an action that brings something into harassing territory, because now you're interfering with someone's quiet enjoyment of their life. You clicking on my website of your own volition is not in any way me quietly or interfering with your quiet enjoyment. That's your dumbass interfering with your quiet enjoyment. And this is something that non-Americans miss all the time about American speech laws. Just speech, when it's literally just speech, is highly protected from criminal prosecution. Highly. Because we can't, the First Amendment exists, so we can't just punish the speech. We have to associate an action. The speech can be an action, but there has to be some level of intentionality, or what we call mens rea, the criminal mindset, to do a thing. To create an actus reus. The actus reus is the actual action that occurs that moves something from a thought into an act, or an opinion or whatever into an action that has impact. And it can all happen through speech. And this is the kind of the complicated nature of it, is like we talked about the girl who convinced her boyfriend to kill himself and was actually prosecuted under the manslaughter statute in the Northeast, I think in New York or New Jersey or something like that. Maryland, I don't know. Maryland's not really Northeast, but it was somewhere on that coast that no one cares about. The critical thing with her speech, and this is, and it's really important to note that this is a really controversial decision. Very, very controversial. And she's a monster. She is an awful, awful human. And what she did to that guy was terrible. And I'm pretty sure that it should not be a crime, which is tough, which is really tough to say because she's a fucking monster. Yeah, she's out now. She served like 18 months or 11 months or something. She's out. But the way we protect speech, she's not there. She's not starting the car. She's not locking him in the car. She's not doing any of these things, these acts which cause his death. What she's doing is sending text messages saying, you should kill yourself. You're a piece of shit. You're worthless. Again, she's a horrific monster. Or was in that moment at least. But I'm not 100% convinced that that's not protected activity. And people might be very, very uncomfortable with that reality. And if that's the case, well, we do have a way to modify that. Like we have a way to say these things are not protected by the First Amendment. But, you know, it doesn't matter because now there is some precedent for the government putting you in jail for this sort of speech. And again, what they had to do to get there, like what she had to do to get to that level was be the most relentless monster in getting this guy to kill himself. This is not an incidental text that says, you know what? I hate you. You're a piece of garbage. You're worthless. And you don't belong on this earth anymore. Why don't you fucking end it? With a follow-up of do it, pussy, right? Like that's not what happened here. It was a barrage of text messages. And he tried to quit. Like he said he didn't want to do it. He tried to get out of the car. And she kept texting him saying, no, stay in there. You fucking baby. Get rid of yourself. Rid the world of your useless ass. Whatever it was. So it was a long, involved process of her getting this guy to kill himself. And so that's where the court made the determination that her relentless harassment, which in any case, what she did was probably harassment, that tipped the scales to allow her speech to become an action. Again, whether that's appropriate under the law is a hard question, but she is unquestionably horrifying. And what she did that day was horrifying. If you take all of the worst things that Kiwi Farms is accused of in regards to the 3 suicides that get pinned on Kiwi Farms, none of them come anywhere even fucking close. And so to suggest that this is a forum that should be shut down because they're encouraging suicide, for example. Someone on the internet saying, kill yourself, idiot, is against the terms of service of almost every website. Because the websites themselves want to shield themselves from liability on that issue. But it is not encouragement of suicide under any legal definition that exists. And that's really tough for people because you're like the common understanding of the phrase is that is encouraging suicide. Like you should kill yourself is encouraging suicide. Like by definition, it's an affirmative statement towards the act of suicide. But again, remember, we've got to get past what the common meaning is. And we have to do that on these things because we're talking about taking away someone's right to have a thing. And in this case, that thing is Joshua Moon's right to have a property interest in a website called Kiwi Farms. They're trying to strip that from him. And they're trying to use pseudo-legal principles to do so. So we have to take the legal principles that exist and make sure we understand those before we get into the pseudo legality of just outright canceling people through third-party contracts. Magna Thedra says, does it matter that she had intent? Yes, of course. Like the intent was manifest through her actions. The intent, yes, you always have to have some sort of intent to commit a crime. Like again, mens rea, the criminal mindset. You have to have some sort of intentionality. Now, You don't necessarily have to intend someone to die or whatever, but you have to intend a thing, and you have to prove that intent. Her intent became pretty easy to prove with her barrage of messages. Simple, right? Like that's where the intent is. You wanted this person to endure harm. We can prove it because you said it over and over and over and over and over again is how they got there. But the intent matters to every criminal, almost every criminal act. But it's not the sole deciding factor. All right. Kalinka, that's a great question. I'll get to it in just a second. But it's important that we get into how this works because, again, when I had this discussion yesterday with Duncan, the First Amendment is how we restrain the government. But the principles underpinning the First Amendment are how we should think. They're guideposts on how we should consider how we restrain each other, or more importantly, how we don't. The founders knew it was wise to allow people to have speech. And they knew that because their speech allowed them to foment the revolution necessary to get under the shackle of a tyrannical overseas government, right? Like they knew that, they did it. So speech became this important thing to protect. All of them would have been hanged if they could have been found prior to winning the Revolutionary War. So what they wanted was a place where people could express displeasure with their government and governmental policies and governmental actions without being hanged, without being persecuted for it. But they also knew that a freely communicating society is an open society, is a society that can function with itself. That allowing people to speak was just a basic idea of saying, you know what? People can be wrong. They can lie. They can, they could do all of these different things. And that's not something we want to punish. Like, it may damage their own reputations. People may not want to interact with them. It may make business deals harder for them to complete and all that stuff. But you get to do it. And our founders left this idea of trying to maximize freedom. And we have gone so far in fucking it up from where it started. Like we are so far away from what it began as that it's laughable to think about now, like what we have versus what there was and how little documentation of that change exists in any founding document. It happens all over in the statutory law and then in court decisions, but there's like these fundamental documents that have fundamental processes which say we take this and we as a society determine this thing to be so correct as to remove the doubt of the vote from it. This is not a party thing. This is not whatever. This is us saying this is such an agreed upon thing that we're going to remove it from the democratic process because it's so fucking important. And we have the opportunity and have always had the opportunity and have taken that opportunity 27 times to modify our founding document. And there's nothing preventing us from doing it now other than we can't seem to agree on what the principle would be that we would take away from the democratic republic process. And that's good. Like, that's fine. Because a government that doesn't do shit is better than a government that does shit all the time. But we never got to this idea because part of Duncan's entire premise was that Kiwi Farms needs to be canceled because they harass people. And we never, I just got frustrated that we never got fully into the discussion on what harassment is. Because again, a web forum that exists and says the worst stuff about you is not harassing in any way. It can't be. Now, a website that exists and then someone keeps pinging you or whatever, sure, can be harassment. But in this case, for Kiwi Farms to be the harasser, The only person would be either Joshua Moon or an agent of his. And that's a hard concept for people too, because Josh participates somewhat on the forum, but not a lot. And he's not typically credibly accused of any of the harassing statements or the threats or whatever get brought up, because that's just not how Josh uses the forum. It's not how he tends to communicate. He might say something offensive about someone. He's done that a lot. But getting into the point of, is Kiwi Farms harassing someone? Well, Kiwi Farms is a website. It's owned and operated by Joshua Moon and whoever may be in his direct employ. To my knowledge, I don't think that's anybody. You could maybe make an argument that unpaid autistic moderators are somehow agents of Joshua Moon. And I'm sure, like, if you were suing Kiwi Farms, you'd want to make that argument. You'd want to pin these agents' actions onto Josh. Like, that's what you'd want to do. But Kiwi Farms isn't really an entity. It's actually not an entity at all. I think it's lolcow.net or whatever. Lolcow LLC was the last entity. It might be a different entity now. Not sure. But Kiwi Farms is not a thing. Russell Greer tried to sue Kiwi Farms. The judge's like, it's not a thing. It's not even real, bro. It doesn't exist. It's in your mind. Because it isn't. It's just a web page. And a web page isn't an entity. And a web page doesn't have agency. So all of these people, and this is what frustrates these people, is that they can't do this. They can't just kick it down, because one illegal act on a website, having it shut down, would shut down every website. 50,000 illegal acts on a website would shut down every major website, like Twitter, Google, New York Times comment sections. Like, people get doxxed and threatened and defamed and berated and harassed in these places all the time. It's not limited to Kiwi Farms. Facebook and Twitter, obviously, massive issues with this, far beyond the scale of Kiwi Farms in any way. And I would say Twitter is responsible for more suicides than just about anything south of Tess Holliday getting naked. But I don't like debates because we don't get to these very, very important discussions sometimes, because someone might get more focused on pointing out to Duncan that he's literally fucking wrong about something else that probably doesn't matter very much. And it hampers the ability to have that conversation. And it's not a one-way street, right? Like, because there's back and forth in the debate, and you kind of go where the conversation can go. But without a moderator to like really wrangle in the topic and get people back to specific elements of questions that are important, but that kills the internet debate entertainment experience as well. When it's like, whoa, we've got Robert's rules here. You have the floor for 1 minute. You have a 1 minute rebuttal, and then you have a 15-second response, and then we will move on. And then I'll ask the question to the other person first, and they'll get the first go. Then you'll get the rebuttal, and then you'll get the response. Like, it gets really fucking gay really fast doing that as well. It's more fun to get shouty, shouty, or whatever. And so that's the thing with, like, an internet debate is a different animal than a debate, because debates make everybody involved want to etiquette themselves, right? Like, everybody is like, oh, fuck, this is terrible. But an internet debate has that Wild West sort of feel to it, where you really get in and just go in hard, like just on someone and be really excited. And I just, like, it's fun, but it's not productive. But this is never going to be a productive discussion, was it? Because let's get back to that critical element of what Duncan's intention was. Duncan's intention was to get something to use against me, to remove me from the platform that he begged to be on. That's what he was trying to do. That's why he was so damn intent on what I quote unquote meant. And you cannot give these people what they want. You can't. Because what they want, who said it? Was it Sam Hyde? Where is it? Trying to find the fucking statement. Here we go. I don't know who coined the phrase, but the statement is this. When we win, do not forget that these people want you broke, dead, your kids raped and brainwashed, and they think it's funny. And that's why you can't give these people an inch. You can't give them anything at all. Is that was Sam Hyde? Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what it was Sam Hyde who said I wasn't bringing up Sam Hyde as a meme. But that's what they want. They will follow you. They will harass and harangue you out of every business engagement you could get because your speech disagrees with their morals. They will remove you from your ability to get income. They will remove you from your ability to defend yourself. They will remove you from your ability to parent your children. They will remove you from your ability to be in the public. They will put you in jail if they can. They will take away every single source of income that you have. And they don't stop. And then, yeah, at the end of the day, when you get removed, when your income is gone, when everything you want to do, they show up every single time. They actively show up. They email, they call, they do the harassing thing. They go to your business partners. They go to your contractors. They go to everyone in your life and they do the thing that they accuse you of doing when you say, lol, look at this idiot on a website away from them. They will then use that as license to go after every single engagement that you have in your life. And they think it's funny when they win. Look at what they do to Vic Mignogna. It's 3 years now. None of anything was proven. None of anything actually got to court. We went through that on the stream about how his case was lost. But with that, it doesn't matter. Like you'd think they'd just leave him alone at some point. Like when he got an engagement, there wouldn't be a flurry of emails from the same sad people trying to get him removed from business. They would just not go. They would just like not go to the convention. That's what they would do. Because like eventually it gets tiring following someone's activity closely enough to make sure you can stop them from doing business. Like eventually it gets like exhausting. But these people don't get exhausted because they are morally righteous. They have a fire burning in them that transcends their weakness and transcends your humanity. Duncan admitted openly that he proposed the debate entirely for clout on the banking on the proposition that I wouldn't answer. And then he was going to use that to show how cool he was and intimidating he was to try and get Keffel's pats because he's a fucking weirdo. So much so that he was willing to. This is how much he wanted that. He platformed on his show on Twitch a racist, homophobic, transphobic, bigoted Nazi. He platformed that person on Twitch. Because, like, I was over here. I platformed just kind of a dumb Brit bong. Like, that's what I did. He platformed a monster. And he was so blinded by his need for dick pats from a weird trans girl activist that he didn't realize that he was platforming a monster. So anxious to have a hug box in his demand to come on my show. The show that he once canceled, the show he once removed from the internet because it's so vile. He would, not only would he wade into that show, would he be a part of it, but then he would simultaneously platform me on his show, which is free of that horrific toxicity. That's how obsessed these people are. That's where the hypocrisy comes in. And that's why you can't give them a fucking millimeter. Because they will laugh while you get raped. They will laugh while you are killed. They will laugh while you are broke, starving, while you're laying in the street, asking for anything. They will laugh as people go insane. They will laugh as people are driven to any act, any horrific act. They'll laugh because that person deserved it. Because that person was wrong thinker. And so therefore they don't get to think anymore. But they will be mad if anyone says anything about them on an internet forum that is most likely to never be seen by anyone until they bring it up. And Josh Moon and I talked about this the other day. There's a big difference. There's a big difference between watching someone fall, walking in a field, and running up and kicking them over. Those are two different things. Kiwi Farms watches people fall all the time. They watch people do really stupid things. They watch people make messes of their own lives, make bad decisions, and they laugh about it. And they ridicule people and they mock them over and over and over. Hundreds, thousands of pages of forum posts about it. Yep. But what Kiwi Farms can't do, because Kiwi Farms isn't an entity or a monolith, Kiwi Farms cannot go kick the person over in the field. Someone from Kiwi Farms might. And if they do, one, they typically get banned from the website. But more importantly, if they engage in some sort of act that causes harm to another, then they should be punished for that act for any illegal activity that they do. If they violate a societal rule, if they interfere with someone's property interest in themselves, then they should suffer that consequence. But they can't do that, necessarily cannot do that by merely posting ill wishes upon someone on a web page somewhere. It's the other shit. And the funniest thing is these people will do all of the things that they accuse Kiwi Farms of doing, and they'll do it harder. But they'll do it directly. They will go to your employers. Keffel said, I will dox you and contact your employer. Which Kiwi Farms, again, is a website that can't do that. But even so, like people on Kiwi Farms, there's no real evidence of them doing that. But that's why, that's why I talk about this. That's why I'm kind of passionate about the whole concept of protecting speech not just through government, but just in general, because today it's Kiwi Farms, but yesterday it was Alex Jones. The day before it was Jihad Watch. Is it Jihad Watch? I think so. You know, the next day it's Crowder. The next day it's me. The next when they start getting all of us, it's you. Eventually it'll just be you, your Twitter account. You think that won't matter, but at some point it really might, depending on how society goes. And if these fuckers have all of the power, trust me, your Twitter account will matter more than anything on earth. And that's the real scary prospect. So that's why that's why I talk about this stuff. That's why I engage in the discussions with weirdos like Duncan, who would literally take my children away and have me killed without a thought. But that's why these discussions matter. But I do hate the debate format. I hate it. There's just so much left out. Oh, and one final note about the whole thing. I drank a lot during the debate. The debate drinking is a mild challenge. It's also a bit of a rope-a-dope. Okay? It's disarming to the other person because they think, oh, this person's drunk. They may think, I don't know, this person's drunk and they're going to be stupid and make a mistake. But it's a minor challenge to me. It's like playing Battletoads with one hand, right? Like, and all I want is someone to come kick my ass on it. Like, and the drinking amounts, that's the quality of my opponent determines the amount of drinking I do. If he were engaging or thoughtful or dangerous, wouldn't have drank anything. But my God, was he fucking stupid. Okay. So that's that. That's a recap of it. I'm not going to revisit the whole debate. You can go watch it if you want. It's like 4 hours long. I might try and have Ryan, the editor, clip some stuff out. Problem is, like, clipping out stuff individually, sometimes it got really spicy. But yeah. But yeah. I can't believe no one has ever, like, just fucking come in and cleaned house. Like, I must just have a gift for throwing a dart and always hitting a fucking moron. Like, I don't know if there's just like a giant, well, I do know there's a giant pool of morons to throw the darts at, but it's like every single one so far that it's happened to. It's like, oh, well, there's a fucking idiot. There's a fucking idiot. There's a fucking idiot. It's just how it goes. Don't forget the part where he muted you on his stream. Well, that was dumb. That was such a weird move. But yeah, no, like I said, I'm pretty much done talking about last night. I should have Ryan the editor do is this. I should have Ryan the editor do this. If he could get every one of my like little pause, stupidly offensive, like comically overstated offensive jokes, compile them all, and we can put that up on Locals or something, or Rumble and Odyssey. Can't put that on YouTube because without the context, they'll go fucking ballistic over some of the stuff that was said. But like compilation of those, because I don't remember half of them. That was fun though. Those were good. So anyway, yeah, maybe that's a good video to do. On that note, I do have something to talk about real quick. And this is like a sponsored discussion, sort of, in a weird way. I don't know what to call it. My friend Andrew Branca. What? No, that's not what it. Damn it. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Here we go. Is this it? Okay, here we go. My friend Andrew Branca is launching a new thing. You know, he does the law of self-defense clinics, which are everything you need to know about self-defense. They're taught as high-level law school classes. They're very great things. Well, they're launching an actual American law courses like school. Now, this is not law school, to be very clear. But so many people have reached out to me and said, "Hey, Nick, how do I learn a little bit more about law? What resources are out there to learn about law? What thing is there to learn about the law just from a layperson's perspective? I want to understand more. I kind of want to get involved." Well, with this, you can actually get first year courses as taught in law school. So you can know some, pretty basic tenets of the law, how it works, what it's down to. If you're interested in the law, but you don't want to be a lawyer or whatever, you can do this. You can check it out. Now, if you go to lawofselfdefense.com/Nick, that is one, there is a cost to this program. There is a cost to this program. I think all those details are coming out on Saturday. I think this is the first day that things are kind of active. But I think on Saturday is when everything kind of really kicks off. And so these are law classes taught by lawyers, and which is what law school is too. And so you can kind of get that law school experience, but you're not going to law school, and you don't have to go through all the hassle of it, but you can just go learn this stuff. So if you go to lawofselfdefense.com/Nick, like I said, it's not fully launched today. It launches on Saturday, and that's when all the details will come out about pricing and all that stuff. And you can check it out. But if you go there now, you'll get, I believe they have a video up, and I think they're doing a new video every day. So just for people who are interested in this type of thing, who want to learn more about the basics of law in America, this is a great way to do it. And Andrew Branca is, of course, running the show. And Steve Gosney, who's going to be on tomorrow, is, I believe, one of the professors. I think he's teaching criminal law as one of those starter courses. So you can check that out if you want. If you're interested in that sort of thing, make sure to give it a shot. Andrew puts together very good, very professionally done presentations on how law works, and he breaks it down to make it very understandable. So there you go. Do you have to buy extra textbooks that the profs get kickbacks on? I don't think so. I don't think you have to do that here. But like I said, all of the details come out on Saturday, like the full extent of the program. But every day they've got like a video. It's going to be coming out for the next couple days and stuff. So if you want to check that out, check it out. Give it a look-see. Like if you just go to the website right now, you'll get a little more information. But you're not somehow locking yourself in. You can just go check it out. But that's it. If the mods can share that link, it'd be great. Or I'll do it. Lawofselfdefense.com. What? I'm typing here. Lawofselfdefense.com/Nick. It was on the thing. It was at the bottom, and I said it, Kalinka. Paul Harvey says, will you think about guest teaching a course in the future with Branca? I have been invited to do so. I'm not sure what course I would teach or when I would have time to do it, but I'm thinking about it. Also, like, teaching an actual law course, like as they teach them in law school, is very, very involved. And my style tends to be more like jovial and go along with things. I can do it, but like the level of commitment to doing that is something I would have to make sure I was fully into, because I would want to give people an excellent experience, right? But he graciously invited me to pick a course if I wanted to in the future to teach. So, oh yeah. So it's without the modern law school cost, leftist ideology, and critical race theory. So that's the rest of what's on the thing. But okay. All right. Teach grifting. Well, one day soon, I'm going to really hammer in on that book. Let me get back to last night's chats and today's chats. Oh, there was one from Kalinka earlier that I really do want to read because it was a great question. And it's a good transitional topic in general because Kalinka wants to transition, I think. Just kidding. She says, Nick, why is there a difference between common usage and legal usage of the same word? Is it to do with language change over time, or what's your opinion? Yes and no. Yes and no. The one, yes, because words change over time and laws don't always get updated to match the modern vernacular. Now, sometimes they do. They get expanded or contracted based on how society views things and how words have changed and languages change, and they update them and all that stuff. Yada, yada, yada. Or they realize they had some dumb loophole in there due to how a word can be defined. But more commonly, it's because people understand words differently. Like, people just have different understandings of the same word or what it means, especially when you start to get into some sort of more complicated or higher level, I guess, discussions or higher level usages of words. And so the law is meant to be discernible to the average person, but it can't be because judges and lawyers are involved. So then what they have to do is create highly specific other words to explain what this word means more precisely and expand it out. But it's because, in part also, that a law is written one way, but it can't be applied with every understanding of that word, if that makes sense. It's kind of weird to explain, but it seems really simple to say, well, let's just make a law that says don't kill anybody, for example. It's like, well, that gets really broad. Like, what is killing someone? In some instances, is it okay to kill people? Like, what level of action do you have to take to be the killer? Like, what do you have to do? And when you think about all of the steps that get involved in breaking this thing down, it gets really complicated, even though it's a pretty simple concept. Like, just don't fucking kill someone. Like, try that, you bigot. But it's like, well, is dealing drugs to them and then they overdose, is that killing them? In Minnesota, yes, it's third-degree murder. So, what does that ultimately mean? It means that things are really, really complex, and especially when it comes to criminal law, and the government's use of, well, even in civil law, using the government itself to enforce a concept or an idea on someone else, we want to be really fucking sure of what we're doing. I think that's the best explanation at the end of the day. But it's a whole lot of factors that go into it. Sometimes it's just changing language. Sometimes it's just the broad definition of some word or the multiple definitions of some words in the statute or whatever. But the critical element of all this is, don't run into some place spouting that law is a particular way when it might not be. Because even though that's what the common understanding of the words on the page are, that might not be an acceptable application for the courts. And rather than strike the law down, they may have just narrowed what that language means in subsequent decisions. And plus, if they didn't do this, lawyers wouldn't have jobs. And that's very, very important, that lawyers have jobs. So, all right, there you go. I wanted to answer that question because it was a very good question. And I saw it. Okay, here we go. Bald Eagle 1787 says, Preston was calling the Vic loss a clear case of you grifting without realizing that we won because Vic is still making a living despite the best efforts of the blue-haired whales and liars at the anime industry. I agree in some way. I don't want anybody to think that I am ever trying to retcon that into a victory of some sort. Vic lost the case. I guess more importantly, Ty lost the case. He came on the show and said it. And, as the owner of the law firm and the lead attorney on the case, takes responsibility for what happened in there. And that is a reality. But the overall thing, like Vic is not destroyed or defeated. He still gets work, and he's actually got the expanding work of the new anime studio, which hopefully has some big things coming in the future. Potentially criminal says, oh, but it's interesting. Like, again, I don't know how it's me grifting. I didn't work on the case. Couldn't. Not licensed in Texas. Not Vic's attorney. Never claimed to be. Always was very, very clear. I am not the lawyer doing any of this. It's not me. The good, the bad, not me. Can't do it. Tucson Sky, missed your $20 super chat last Thursday. Wanted to toast to your mom who passed on the 22nd. Send it to C Goody Tucson if you could, and if C Goody's still here, he can probably send it on to me in Discord or something. But I don't remember missing any chats on Thursday, but last Thursday I have no idea. I don't even know what show that was. So if I did, I'm sorry. Potentially criminal. Did the windows on Carl's house rattle when you nuked Duncan this morning? Oh, no. How's it going, Sean? I got to talk to you again sometime soon. Patrick Ells, when I watch Gordon Ramsay's shows, he never seems mean to me. I hear worse when getting complimented at work in the shipyard. I'm doing the $20 super chats from earlier today is what I'm doing right now. And we're going to get to the rest of them. This is also a super chat makeup stream, but I want to get to the chats from today too, before we get too far into the ones from yesterday, or from earlier today, if that makes sense. Traveling Tortoise, can I send some orcs to Lotus Eaters for Callum to play with against you and your son, Sargon? Orcs. I would assume, does Lotus Eaters have a post office box of some sort? I would check there. WG, I'm no judge, but I'm pretty sure Az is just painting his toenails at this point. Morty J says, a hearty Texas greeting to y'all this afternoon. Question for the Brits here is, I don't know truly an FU slang? If so, I will add it to my arsenal of expletives. Yes, that was, I believe Duncan, he was saying, when I say I don't know, it means fuck you. It's like, oh, well, I mean, I guess that's a thing. I didn't know that one at all. If you die of alcohol poisoning, is your liquor store guilty of murder? You know what? Leave it to the state. They will try that. And there are certain instances where they might be. If they sold me liquor, like while I was knowingly visibly intoxicated, and they sold me liquor, like really, really dangerously intoxicated. They're like, here you go. Here's your bottle of Jack Daniels. They may have some liability there. It's possible. There's sometimes laws to prevent them from having liability, but there's other laws to try and get them liability on them. So how about a bartender? Same answers. That's why bartenders and why bars will remove people who are visibly intoxicated. Like, I mean, there's like, we're talking about really intoxicated, because if a bar serves someone who they know is intoxicated, and then that person goes and like runs over a kid in their car, the bar can be held civilly liable for that. Yeah. In a lot of states, not in all states, but in a lot of them. Am I shaking my leg? Yes. You have to just deal with it, because that's how it goes. The Law Patrol. I spend too much time on how inappropriate. Wait, I read that one. Chris Raposo says, great stream today. Was nice to escape the nonsense just listening to friends shooting the breeze and painting. We need more of these. Yes, I love doing those streams with Sargon and Az. We are going to do more of them soon, either on Az's channel or my channel, probably most frequently. Those two, they're just a blast to not really fucking have to like have a agenda, just talk and tell jokes. And Traveling Tortoise, apparently Jack Murphy is making a comeback. He has found God now, so no harm, no foul on his part. The Lord raised his ankles above his neck. He's been doing the God grift for a while since he got blown out last winter. Malkaran last night had me yelling at the screen. He was so disingenuous. It was migraine inducing. 40K is awesome and I love it. I listened to the Prince of Crows audio drama and loved how badass Sevatar the Night Lords is. Dude, Sevatar is a fucking murder factory. In the field, as you know, we're schizophrenic. Interesting how they're so concerned that parents denying children's lived experiences, but will immediately punish a child for identifying wrong. Exactly. Okay, so that's the big chats from yesterday. We're into chats from today now, and then I'll go back and do them all, if that makes sense. Bailey 7, this is fresh over on Rumble, says, fuck you, Nick. Listening to you while grinding BTD 6 collection event. Oh my God. I look at Twitter and see something truly horrific on my feed because you replied to it. Show chat the healthy bikini babe, you degenerate. I don't want to. It's horrible. It's so bad. Ew. It's also from a parody account. Here we go. So this is on Nina Infinity's timeline. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Let me, hold on. Yeah, I won't, we don't need the music anyway. Here we go. Here we go. This is for you, chat. Oh. God. Oh. Oh. Healthy at any size, y'all. Healthy at any size. Oh. Fuck. Bailey 7. That's Bailey 7's fault on Rumble. That was not my fault. Ew. Wait. Ever Eden author says that is not that bad, in my opinion. What?
Let's put it out on Twitter. I don't give a fuck if you're 6'3". I'll slap the shit out of you, fucker.
What did you say? Ever Eden author?
And I got news for you. That means you're gay. Okay. Anyway. All right. Butt Worlds Man. This is from today. Butt Worlds Man says, amazing stream yesterday. Got a lot of good clips and memes for days. Truly a roller coaster as you went from yelling to calmly discussing trans bussy to getting loud again about straight men sucking pipe to calling him an F slur. I cannot believe he had a list of 3 dudes that he would have sex with if they transitioned. And he was excited about the answer. I don't understand. Like, what happened? Josh says, Nick, I got a shill. Sorry. One of our therapy horses has a bad infection that needs to be removed. Give, Send, Go, Deuce Tooth. So you can check out Give, Send, Go, Deuce Tooth if you want to help out a therapy horse. Ashley says, no toast. I believe in the power of prayer. I'm asking you in the chat for prayers. Next Wednesday, my dad, 70, is having a second hip replacement on a 22-year-old hip. I'm a daddy's girl, so this is hard. I know the Lord has this. Thanks. Hey, Ashley, I do pray for the wisdom of the doctors and the resilient recovery of your father. May it be swift and complete, and may God have his hand all over it. Real Hydro PX, has Drex ever asked you to see his baldo while he wears it? Or have you guys ever tried it on each other? No, not yet, but soon. He also says, have you and Drex ever talked about how, statistically speaking, black males are most likely to come out as homosexuals? Just saying. Yes. Yeah, we have talked about that because, Drex, he's gay. It's the only way he can go visit his wife 13 times in 10 months and that not be a relationship is if he's fucking gay. Right? Like, it's got to be.
I am not gay. I have relationships with women and sex with men.
Bob Piffle, I stumbled in late last night, uneventful, boring bar, tuned in, and holy shits. Now that was entertainment, the McLeod debate. 20 bones your way. Thank you. Dr. Squirrel Boy 12. Hey, Nick, please do a toast to my 26th birthday Tuesday and to my luck, asking my crush out tomorrow. Wow, that seems noble. I know it's not the same without the guts theme. I have that one. I think I have that one still somewhere. But if you play too long of a clip with the guts theme, then they copy strike you. All right, so to Dr. Squirrel Boy, happy 26th birthday. 26 years. That's 1 year of renting a car with impunity. But more importantly, 26 years of life on this earth, of wandering and of learning your worth to everyone around you. May you be worthy. May you be worthy to your crush tomorrow when you take a bold step. Be confident, be yourself, and may you be fulfilled. I guess that might have been me wishing for you to get pegged, but cheers, buddy. Go get that butt. The Field says, quote, I only want your business destroyed, your law license revoked, and any other form of employment to completely ban you. Why are you so mad? Do you need a minute? Duncan McClown. Quoting Duncan McClown. Verlicify. Oh, this is Verlicify. Duncan does not seem to like Verlicify. I don't know. I've seen some stuff about Verlicify. Some people saying some negative stuff. I don't know anything about this person. So I don't know. But what Duncan explained to me last night was that some 12-year-old won a Pokemon contest, and Verlicify pointed out how the 12-year-old cheated in some way or something, or accused him of cheating. And then, so that made Verlicify bad. But when I asked Duncan if the kid cheated, he said, yeah, probably. So it's like, I was very fucking confused. Like, I don't understand. I don't know. Maybe Verlicify is otherwise terrible, but that was just a shitty anecdote to tell me why he was a bad person. Like, again, I had no idea. But it's like, well, if that's the best you got, like, I'm neutral on that at the worst. Mandy says, just got home. Is that gay guy still living in your head? What, Drexel? Yeah. So Verlicify says, Duncan mentioned me. Thanks for dismantling him. He did everything in his power to successfully destroy my livelihood on YouTube, threaten copyright strikes, lose my sponsors, and collabs. Everything he said about me was a lie. There you go. Okay. I'm glad you let me know. Again, I don't know. And I have no judgment about you at all. I don't know who you are other than hearing your name. And that's not like an offensive thing. I just think you're in the Pokemon community. I never have been into Pokemon. Billy the Kid Lawrence, there I was catching up on streams thinking it was a good idea to leave one on as white noise, only then to have my entire household awoken by, for being the enemy of bingers for 450 years, kill all crackers. Hashtag unbreaded. Tarkina Meyer, Have you seen the IRS malfeasance in the Chrisley trial? Nope, have not. K to the Swiss, Nick looks down on attorney Tom. Well, so does everybody at the end of the day. Let's see. Red Mage 13. Just celebrated my birthday with friends earlier this evening. This weekend, helping parents move with a 16-hour drive. Thanks always for the great shows. And I have a few episodes to catch up on, which will make the drive easier. Cheers. Oh, yeah. I gave you some long ones. I always give long ones. Brian says, watching you set up and trap last night was great. I pity the fool who's cross-examined by you. They keep asking for it. It's weird. Law and Lumber. What's up, man? He says 3 questions. 1, how are you still alive after all these lives? Oh my God. Very tired tonight. 2, projects. I work for liquor, not military issue. And 3, did you eventually get to my super chat around 4 a.m. last night? Also, how alive? Yes, I did. I did read your super chat, Rob, and big thanks to you for that. It was really, really appreciated. Peanutty says, can I get a toast? September 1st marks what would have been my first son's 11th birthday. And in 10 days, my second son would have been 10. I lost them when they were 20 and 18 weeks gestational. I don't want to be celebrating them alone. Miscarriages are extremely touchy subjects for a lot of people. And a toast to the babies that you had, the babies that you knew, in a way that you will know no other children. May the potential of their life always be the maximum fulfillment. May the potential of what they could have become rest easy in your mind that that's what they are, and that they will never be broken or tainted by this world. May they bring you comfort and peace instead of sorrow. Cheers. That's a tough one. Real Hydro PX, in your opinion, why do you think people like Branca, Barnes, and Nate, who delete comments, hide from anyone who disagree with them besides being figs? I don't know why anybody else does anything. I know that it would be in many ways a lot easier to like delete comments, but and stuff like that. But in other ways, it'd be really frustratingly difficult to like maintain that and to do it. Like to me, it's just too much work, and I'm lazy. But also, the free speech thing, I guess. But no, I can't imagine like spending the time doing it. But I'm not anybody else. I'm just me. And there's I don't know. Not my thing. Blaine's Escape Corner. I heard there was a big old scout around here I could swing on to get some clout. Or should I send some DMs and complain when you ghost me? Yes. Any tips for a small streamer appreciated. Degenerate monster girl lovers, welcome. My tip to all small streamers and YouTubers is the same. The most important tip on YouTube is to consistently make content. That's the number one fucking tip. And it's really hard when you got 1 viewer or 0 viewers or 8 viewers or whatever. Consistently making content is the way, because when it comes around, you're there. But then when it comes around, you ride that thing real hard. Bob Piffle, you strip mall attorney, stop yelling. My intuition, Miss Cleo from the Psychic Readers Network would have been proud, tells me that I'm right and you are wrong. That feller was/is a clown. You defended well. Oh, thank you. King Dude, the only thing he got right was Verlicify/Pokemon. Guy is an actual piece of shit that loses tourneys and tries to get better players banned from tourneys over accusations. Wow. So King Dude just called out Verlicify. Now we've got a fight in the chat. That could happen. I don't know if Verlicify or King Dude are still here. Samuel the Infamous, sincere apologies for excessive DMs. You don't need to apologize. Don't worry. There's just a lot of times that I just can't answer most of them. But sometimes, that's the thing. Sometimes I just happen to be, like, I happen to check the DM, like, request section, which is just pages and pages and pages of DM requests.
I happened to check it, and up near the top, there'll be something that I needed to see. And that Duncan thing was how that worked. It's all timing. Matt R., these commies are so obvious in their projection. They assume your wall comments were violence because their favorite phrase is threatening to put you against the wall rather than on the wall. Oh, yeah. I mean, that again, we talked about that, but that's the thing. They assume the bad because that's what they would do if given power. If they had power, they would kill. If they could kill with impunity, they would. Like, they're the people when that trivia question comes up that says, name 5 people that if you had 5 bullets that were untraceable, you would kill immediately. And they're like, 5? I've got like 50. Let me put them down. And then you ask, like, why? It's like, oh, are they horrific? Are they like, did they harm you in some way? They're like, no, I don't like their opinion. Whoa. Okay. Kyle Bogue, the guy's a typical smarmy subject of a queen. Wrecking him was your finest moment on stream since Grossgrits admitted to pointing the gun at Kyle Rittenhouse. 2 commies torched on one channel. Cheers, bro. Marconi's for streamers. Lamau. That's the Grifties. Yes. The Grifties. By the way, grifties.com. I am still number 1, although the quartering is trying to come in and steal the crown. He has moved into second place above Sticks, Hex, and Hammer's Cat. Carathan. C.S. Lewis had a quote in part that said, the moral busybodies will torment you without end because they do so with the approval of their own conscience. The conscience is also vile and corrupt. Yes. Yep. That's correct. Skyrim 96. Yeah. They're not only are they fixing you, but they're also fixing everyone around to be better. And that's the scary part. Skyrim 96. I agree with RGE. When the tide starts to turn, these people try to apologize. We tell them, no, you need to remember what they've done and make their lives hell by not giving them access to the things we built. It's that easy. Also says, as in we tell them to build their own and ignore them. They'll lose their minds and we can sit back and laugh. Why? Because we need to stop taking the high road. It's taking the high road that's got us where we are today. Yeah, I agree with a lot of that. Oh, and did you see like so I said, I don't even remember why I said in the debate last night that I would donate $200 to Duncan's Twitch channel or whatever. And I gifted a bunch of subs, so it ended up being 250. He like lost his mind that I actually did it. It's like, I'll have to find a pro-trans charity to give it to and make a donation in his name. Okay. Like, is that your own? Like, that's how you win, is giving the money to someone else? All right. I mean, if that's what you want to do, I'm not here to stop you. God, what a weirdo. Red Rum. Hey, Nick, can I get a toast for Dr. Squirrel Boy 12's crush? We just made love. To Dr. Squirrel Boy's 12's crush, who lies lovingly in the arms of Red Rum right now. May she swiftly forget tonight's encounter and be prepared to be swept away by Dr. Squirrel Boy's suave advances on the morrow. Marcel DeFore, Duncan is the kind of guy that runs down the stairs every morning like a kid on Christmas, hoping that his dad has finally returned with the milk and smokes after being gone for 20 years. Anger on the Red Angel, your reward for winning the prize and winning the game by beheading Duncan MacLeod. There can be only one. May it be Nick Ricado, the Lost Planer. God damn it. Fucking memory error has gotten worse. Worse lately on YouTube. God. Savage Gerbil says, wait, after all that, the guy still doesn't get that you're not some trans-hating zealot? Yeah. Which is weird because that was the thing that I tried to convey is like, the Keffels stuff has literally nothing to do with Keffels being trans. And I said this to the weird DJ who messaged me on Instagram. She's kind of cute though. But I said this to her. I was like, it could have been anybody. Like it could have been literally anyone saying, yeah, I give HRT to minors without their parents' consent. I would have the same opinion. It has nothing to do with them being trans. That's I don't even know how you draw that conclusion. Let's see. Jack Jace. My daughter would have been 1 in April. She spent 6 weeks in the NICU with me while me and my wife were not allowed to see her together. I will never let you celebrate alone, friend. God, it's rough. Mandy Karavichus. So I have dumb dreams. Last night you were in one. Well, let me get in my better shirt. I was piloting a news helicopter and you were in the reporter seat giving live commentary on the traffic below, dropping F-bombs and yelling like last night. What the fuck, Nick? Yeah, that sounds like a fun time. I think that needs to happen. My last helicopter experience was not great, though. I got very motion sick. Very, very motion sick. Snubber 13 says, you're doxing me, said the losers who want anonymity erased. Your employer called your family and friends to disown you and for there to be consequences for everything you put out on the internet. That was amazing, actually. And again, my problem with internet debates is, like, as I thought back on it today, oh my God, what a fascinating discussion. And this is a big L for me. This is a big L for me. All right. He said at one point last night that Kiwi Farms would be just fine to exist if everyone's real name and picture were on it. Why? And we kind of got to the place where he said, well, because then we'd know who the bigots were. Right? But knowing who someone is doesn't remedy any of the alleged ills of Kiwi Farms. Well, they dox people, they harass people, they get them to kill themselves. Okay. Having their name and picture there doesn't prevent them from doing the same thing. And he said the forum as it is would be just fine if only we knew who it was. And why is that? If only we knew who to mob punish. But notice what they don't care about, because this is the sneaky deception. They talk a whole lot about people being bullied and harassed and killing themselves and whatever, all the life destruction. They don't care about that. They only care to go after the people who did it. But a better thing to do, the more noble endeavor, is to not have the original person suffer the perceived ill, right? Preventing someone from doing the nasty thing to someone else would be the higher goal. Not just knowing what target there was to go bludgeon with a mob later. If you truly believe that what happens on Kiwi Farms is so critically dangerous that it basically should not exist, then you should want to remedy the critically dangerous behavior, not just give yourself Twitter targets to go after ineffectively. But what they want is revenge. They want the victimhood. They want it. They bank off of it. Keffel's got a blue check mark and over $100,000 by being a professional, by literally doing nothing but being a victim of something. That's the claim. That's the fame that Keffel's achieved. And look, swatting sucks. I wouldn't necessarily, I'm not at the level of calling police showing up with search warrants and stuff swatting. Not quite there yet personally. I think it's a little bit different. That's very fucking different. But that being said, what ultimately will be a temporary inconvenience has translated into a massive opportunity for Keffels. Not because Keffels was particularly witty, smart, resourceful, creative. Not because they made something that people want, but because they became a victim. That's all. That was it. That's all it took. Like, fuck me. If I could have, imagine if I could have turned my swatting incident into just $100,000. Just here you go. Or the quartering could do that. Like 100 grand, like just here, 100,000. Oh, and a blue check on Twitter automatically. Oh, well, thank you. That's nice. Now my primary marketing arm is verified and can function even better. Thank you. Very cool. Yeah. But that's what these people want. They need the victimhood. They don't mind. It's a lie that they mind being victims, because that's the only way they profit is by being the victim. It's so dishonest. I hate them. I hate them all. Every single one of them. On the wall they go. Okay, so that was today's big chats. All of today's big chats are read on all platforms. I have a story or two. I don't know if I want to get into them. Let me see. It's kind of late. Weird. Let's try this. Tug sent me something I want to check real quick. Okay, weird. I'll show you what Tug sent me. It's not doing this for me. But he mentioned I've got some new YouTube fuckery happening here. This is interesting. But again, I just checked and it's not doing this for me. But here's oh wait, no, it says live down here. But that's weird. It says no views 2 hours ago. It's kind of, I don't know. Maybe they just changed the format. I'm not sure. But it does say live around my name. So maybe that's it. Normally it would say it like here or over here or something else. Maybe they just changed the YouTube app. I'm not sure. All right, here we go. But when I checked it, it shows the viewer count and all that stuff. What was I looking for? My stories, where'd they go? Can I get my own? All right. So sometimes I DM stories to myself because it's a great way to get them. Okay, there we go. No, what? Oh, this is a story I really wanted to cover really quickly. This is not long. But this is a really cool Fourth Amendment case that came through. Maybe I should do it. Well, I don't know when I do it. Here we go. This will be brief. Boom. Scanning students' rooms during remote tests is unconstitutional, judge rules. So if you don't know, colleges in particular are trying to find ways to crack down on cheating on tests and stuff, especially with remote test taking. So what you have is you have this like a proprietary software that shuts down your ability to use your computer for anything else, and but allows you take the test on this machine. Like, they just ignore that you could have another computer right there, like in theory. Like, if you're gonna have people take remote tests, just write it with the assumption that they'll use technology to assist in the test. So you add a strict time limit on the test, and then you write them with the knowledge that people can look up the answers, and that's what you have to do. That's how you have to adapt to this shit. But instead, what they try to do is lock people down. Well, the new hotness was like to not only lock down the computer, but to also use the built-in camera on the computer to scan the room. And you had to consent to a scan of your property to take this test, to look for materials that you could use to cheat. Like, I guess another computer, a textbook, something like I don't know, a lawyer standing next to you or something, to look for these materials in your room. That was the new hotness. And some enterprising students said, wait a minute, this is a fucking government. This is a state school. The state doesn't have any probable cause to search my home at all. And they won. What a great argument. Amazing. Here we go. The remote proctored exam that colleges began using widely during the pandemic saw a first big legal test of its own, one that concluded in a ruling applauded by digital privacy advocates. A federal judge this week sided with a student at Cleveland State University in Ohio who alleged that a room scan taken before his online test as a proctoring measure was unconstitutional. Aaron Ogletree, a chemistry student, sat for a test during his spring semester last year. Before starting the exam, he was asked to show the virtual proctor his bedroom. He complied, and the recording data was stored by one of the school's third-party proctoring tools, HonorLock, according to the ruling documents. Ogletree then sued his university, alleging that the room scan violated his Fourth Amendment rights, protecting U.S. citizens against unreasonable searches and seizures. In its defense, Cleveland State argued that room scans are not searches because they are limited in scope, conducted to ensure academic fairness and exam integrity, and not coerced. Not coerced. If you say no, you fail. But it's not coerced, bro. You don't have to do it, bruh. It's completely voluntary, bruh. Fuck these people. Fuck them right in their anuses and ears. U.S. District Court Judge J. Philip Calabrese on Monday decided in Ogletree's favor room scans are unconstitutional. Quote, Mr. Ogletree's privacy interest in his home outweighs Cleveland State's interest in scanning his room. Yes. Accordingly, the court determines that Cleveland State's practice of conducting room scans is unreasonable under the Fourth Amendment, Judge Calabrese concluded. Better get a warrant, motherfuckers. You got to get a warrant to scan my room for a test. Fuck you right in your fed holes or whatever. Fuck you. Stay out of my room. Stay out of my house. Why do you get to come in here? Well, you're going to take a test. Fuck you. You made me take this test. You made me do it. And more importantly, that's the government looking into your life. Well, we're just checking to see if they're cheating. What happens if there's a big fucking bag of meth in the back? Just a big old pile of meth. They report it? I don't know. Maybe they do. The government's now holding a picture. They said the government's proctoring program is holding a picture of this guy's room, a scan of it. So maybe he had to like pick up his laptop and do this thing or whatever. Now the government knows what's in his room. They have no business knowing anything that's in his room. Scan this dick. I would have memes of like dicks and buttholes and everything all in the background, just hidden Easter eggs for them to look at all day. Since 2020, COVID restrictions have forced students to take remote exams. Nope. COVID restrictions didn't force students to take remote exams. Professors and institutions forced students to take remote exams by putting in COVID-19 restrictions. There's a difference. It's actually the opposite. So universities have come to rely on browser plugins and other software from third-party proctor companies to prevent cheating on tests. They made the situation in which they would get to monitor your life. That's what they did. They created a scenario by which the government would have a free look into your fucking life. Fuck the feds. Fuck all of them. This is what they do. Every time they always create the situation to then make it reasonable for them to look at your shit. They don't get to look at your shit just because they created a scenario by which they want to more. Fuck them. Civil rights attorney Matthew Besser, who represented Ogletree, described the decision as a landmark case in a post on his own firm's blog. The case appears to be the first in the nation to hold that Fourth Amendment protects students from unreasonable video searches of their homes before taking a remote test. Great. That's awesome. Definition of a search is in question. No, it isn't. It is not. It is not in question. Stop it. The government looked in your house. That's a search, period. That's it. Government looked in your house. Do they have probable cause plus a warrant or a valid exception to the warrant requirement? That's what they have to have. Always, always, always. University contested the fact that remote virtual room scans constituted searches. They always do. I had a cop contest that him kicking open a bag because he used his foot was not a search. He used his foot to open a plastic bag and look at the contents inside. And he's like, well, that wasn't a search. I used my foot. I moved the bag with my foot and it opened. That was your goal, was to open the bag. That was why you moved it with your foot. It was a fucking search, you weirdo. Of course it was. They try to argue everything's not a search. What else is the government looking at your stuff if it's not a search? Oh, the scan of Ogletree's, it argued that the scan was a regulatory process unrelated to criminality with a goal of exam integrity. The government's looking at yo shit. It's a search. You cannot give a millimeter on this subject for any reason. Well, the government's just blood testing you because they want to make sure you don't spread COVID to someone, bro. Well, but I don't want to be blood tested. Yeah, but they want to make sure you're not. Well, I'm not going anywhere. That too bad. We're going to check that blood. I'm going to just check that blood. But I have other things in my blood that you may not want to know about, like my AIDS. Sorry, we're going to check that blood. Oh, looks like you're a Republican. Get fucked, right? This is how it goes. It's how it always goes. Government is always looking for a way into your life that they can justify, but there is no justification ever. And if you think otherwise, get the boot leather out your mouth. Because they will always, always, always use this to fuck you. And what they're trying to do is get enough spit on their boot so the next place it goes is your ass. They're nasty people. The scan of Ogletree's room lasted no more than a minute and as little as 10 seconds. The defense argued, according to court documents, the scan was brief, only revealed items in plain view. So they're not in plain view until you force them to turn on a camera. They're not in your plain view. And the student controlled the inspection to the extent that the student chose where in the house to take the exam and where in the room to direct the camera. Too bad. Doesn't matter. Plaintiff was free to object to the scan, the defense added. A student who refused to perform the exam could still take the test, the school argued, even if opting out meant getting no credit for the exam. They can still take the test, but they opt out, though they don't get credit for taking it. But they could still take the test. They just get a 0. Listen to the arguments these people make. They're serious. They're legit serious. Well, he can still take the test. What grade will he get? Well, 0. He'll fail. No credit.
But he could take it. It's not like he had to give up the scan. Judge didn't agree. Room scans go where people otherwise would not, at least not without a warrant or an invitation. Exactly. Nor does it follow that room scans are not searches because the technology is in general public use, Judge Calabrese said. You cannot ever, on the Fourth Amendment, this is one of my passions. You can never give a millimeter on the Fourth Amendment. I don't care how bad or awful anyone is. They will take the Fourth Amendment and wipe your ass with it, and then their own. And then they'll have AIDS, but they'll like it. You can never give them an inch on the unconstitutionality of searches. The government wants nothing more than to be in everyone's home at all times. That's what they want. You know how much easier it is to catch criminals if you're just always in their home. You know how much easier it is to catch the tax cheat if you're just in everyone's home. You know how much easier it is to stop domestic violence if the government's already in the home. You know how much easier it is to punish your political opponents when you're already in the house. All those previous things are interests of government in the constitutional sense. Compelling interests of government to levy and collect taxes, compelling interests of government to prevent the harm of its citizens. But the one they care about, and the one that it will be most nefariously used for, is to control their opposition, to limit their speech, to remove them from the voting pool, and ultimately to retain power. Because the government always seeks to maintain its power. It is a function of government, of every government throughout all of history, in every instance. There is no benevolent Big G. Big G is always suffered as the necessary evil, which must be suffered at its absolute minimum as long as possible. There we go. All right. Okay. With that said, I'm going to read through the rest of the super chats, and then we'll probably wrap up the show. All right. Start over on Rumble. SC Medic 71 says the suicide girl was in Massachusetts. Jury likely convicted based more on emotion than law. Only got 15-month sentence, served less than 12. Yep. But that's the type of case where, like Lucas Gerhardt's case, right? These First Amendment cases, juries are not First Amendment attorneys or judges. So they have to, we'll do unbreaded. Shit, I almost forgot. It's been too long. We'll do it because it was so late last night. We'll do unbreaded. But once these complex legal issues get to judges or past judges and into juries, I mean, now you're just going with people who are voting largely based on their emotion and anecdotal experience. Fair and balanced. Why should we listen to you? You're just a basement strip mall lawyer. Oh, wait, it's for your family. Okay, that's cool. Yeah. What a weird thing. And again, like, strip mall lawyers kick the shit out of people all the time. Like the biggest law firms in my town are all in strip malls. There's one of the smaller firms, like one of the medium-sized firms for the town, I guess, has its own building. But the two big firms, strip malls. Just how it goes. Like, that's what it is. I don't know what to tell people. Like this idea that every firm is in a fucking Madison Square high rise is just not true. And where's hold on.
Yeah, it's just it's just a weird concept that people have. Like I don't know. Well, it's the credential thing too. Like, oh, well, he went to Harvard. He's a better lawyer. But we saw that Camille Vasquez went to an effectively unranked school. I think it was ranked like 136th. And she kicked the shit out of Ben Rottenborn, who went to Stanford, which is the second ranked school or third or something. Like, none of this shit matters. Stop being so fucking weird. Okay. Roy Rat, Nick, I started uploading to my Rumble. Tonight's vid is feeding Heidi the wild desert blonde tarantula. I need 100 subs to live broadcast. Check out rumble.com/user/Roy Rat, ROIRATT. And he sent that one twice, so thank you for that. But that's there. If people want to check out Roy Rat on Rumble, if you get 100 subs, you can get live broadcasting over there. Heel versus Babyface Clogged Arteries says, how many times will Heel versus Babyface burp loudly into the mic or just generally act like Neanderthal on today's stream? My guess is at least 10. The almighty truffles, roses are red, violets are blue. Ricada is late, but that isn't new. That's true. Das Pooch can only watch till Jim's stream starts in an hour. Actually, I'm surprised Sergen will be here rather than there since Daddy Jim applied to his silly ass before it did for Ralph. Lol. Name 530 says, a minute later and I was going to go vote for Styx's cat in the Grifties instead of you. DB, good job today. NR on that nut job from the UK. Peter Frazzi, hopefully you feel better now after last night. I do. Really tired today though. Still, again, I got like an hour of sleep, hour and a half of sleep, and then that's why I fell asleep for about 2 hours. No, an hour and a half. I got an hour and a half more sleep before the show, so I'm looking forward to bed tonight. Bobby 0081, have you heard from Dumbcum McLeod today? Oh no, he's been posting a lot on Twitter, but nothing. He's not talking directly to me that I know of. Peter Brooks, how do you deal with Hebrews and anti-Hebrews? Also, what was your starting job? I started as a journalist and became an electrician. I'd like to become a journalist again, but I'm just trying to survive. How do I deal with Hebrews and anti-Hebrews? I just don't care. Like, I don't know. Like everybody else, I guess. As far as starting job, my first job was a soccer referee when I was like 14 or something. Then I worked at a movie theater. That was my first like proper job. It was Marcus Theaters, Lakeville 18 Theaters. It's now like a 21 screen theater. It's a different company, but it was horrible, but it was fun. Went home smelling like fake butter every night. It's when I stopped. I used to get butter on my popcorn all the time. Never anymore. After working at the movie theater, I can never eat another drop of movie theater butter on popcorn. It's disgusting. I hate it. It is the grossest thing on the planet. James Wright, referencing the martial arts discussion, training isn't about belts. They aren't like a college degree. Pursue progression. They just hold the gi together. Keep training. Advice from a 6-year Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu purple belt. Yeah, Jiu-Jitsu has the right, like, well, the short time that I did some exclusive Jiu-Jitsu, it was a cool place, and you had a belt, but no one ever wore them. They were never worn in the gym. White belts fought brown belts. It didn't matter. Like, the belt existed, but more importantly was you and your skills. A lot of other places really put a lot more focus on belt progression because belt progression is money. Get that grift. Belt progression, those belt tests. Oh, well, you want to move up to the next belt? Well, that's going to be 6 months. You got to spend 6 months in this belt. And then when you do, the belt test for that one's going to be a little higher than your last one. This one's going to be $260 instead of $175. And then the next one after that, the test gets so much more complicated. It's going to be $380 for that next level. And that's going to be after another solid 6 months of classes. And you got to make sure you get to enough of them in the time to. This is what they do. They've set it up to artificially take some requisite amount of time and then increase the cost of every belt class or of every belt test. Which is why I haven't cared about belts and martial arts for fucking years. Even when I did them. Filthy Pagan Brewmaster, I wanted to thank you guys. After your last painting stream, when you spooged on your desk, I started reading the Eisenhorn series. Just about to start book 3. What a great series. Oh, it's so fucking good. Read the rest of them that came out after too. Dermy Wormy, look, we got a cool Brit and a cool New Zealander. So much better than the Scot from last night. Might have made a meme of him this morning. Dermy, they're both Brits. Jubs McGee, remember kids, as times get harder, never leave the house without your Imperium certified purity seal. Burn the heretic, especially groomers. Filthy Pagan Brewmaster, I really dig the Space Wolves. As a filthy pagan myself, any good books to pick up for their lore? I mean, the Ragnar books, Space Wolf is there. The Space Wolf Omnibus 1 and 2, it's like 6 books of Ragnar Blackmane. I mean, he's the main Space Wolf character. But really what you should read is anything involving Bjorn the Fell-Handed, because that motherfucker is awesome. Would you do martial arts of the Baldo? Yeah, you always want an extra striking appendage. Kyle Bogue, sitting up watching the stream and my mom texts me. My grandpa had to go to the hospital. They just transferred him to Abbott. They think he has cancer. Last grandparent I have left. A fine Catholic man needs prayers. Well, Kyle, I will pray, of course, that it is not cancer. I'll pray that it is something easily overcome. And if it is cancer, that the doctors have the wisdom and skills to catch it and treat and remove it as fast as possible, of course. Aiken says 200 years chicken soup used as puberty blockers. That was a weird comment. Does anybody know anything about that from Duncan MacLeod? He said that puberty blockers have been used for 200 years, which I'm having struggles like I don't know the science, but conceptually thinking about in 1822 them issuing puberty blockers. That just doesn't seem like a thing that's true. I got to grab the Pope hat. It's a bit away. I'll be right back. Jack Murphy, Law and Crime. All right, I'm back. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting close. James Wright, 2.5 years white belt, 3 years as a blue belt, 5 months at purple. There you go. Dermy Wormy, I was a huge fan. By the way, my martial arts history, I did Shotokan karate, which has nothing to do with drawn pictures of naked kids. It has different spelling. But I did that and I became a brown belt. I think it's either purple or brown belt. I think it was a brown belt. And then I did this weird like hybrid martial art called Chungmu Day, which was it's a bunch of different stuff. It was fun, but it was like a mix of kung fu and other stuff. And I got to like the second rank there, and then the place closed, which is depressing. And then I did jiu-jitsu for a short stint. I didn't do belt advancement. I did that like on a summer in college. And then I did taekwondo for a while in college. I think I got to a blue belt in taekwondo. So yeah. Just say karate next time, but there's a whole bunch of different karates or whatever. But I haven't done martial arts in a long fucking time. But I used to really like them. Dermy Wormy, I was a huge fan of Duncan because of Pokemon. I watched him for literal years. I was banned for being a con, and I have to thank him. If he didn't, I would have never found you guys. Hey, thank you. Thank you, Duncan. The Clumsy Cryptid. Trying to make normalized understanding of these people is a headache. Either you ask and they go on a tirade about themselves, or they're insta aggro. The Iron Omega says the crossover we all wanted, Death Guard versus Thousand Suns. When? Love you all. And finally, demons can legally ally with Chaos Space Marines. That is all. Right, Rat. As is that a Crystal Palace jersey I see on your wall? I'll just say yes. Marmor 132, a stripper tells you to get on the wall is different from the police telling you on the wall. And if the ATF says get on the wall, that means your dog is dead. Steven, Nick, Carl believes that Sargon believes that the U.S. Constitution is just a piece of paper and nothing more. A common Euro poor cope. He should prove his point by burning his scales. How's that politics career going? Damn. Oh, I wish I would have said that while he was on here. Kiverdam, thank you for the donation. Robert Wiles, hey, tell Az my niece is happy to see him doing another live stream. He is her favorite channel to watch. Don't tell Jay. Be blessed. Gift on your way, Az. Gates of Above, read that one. Big Raj, thanks for the thumbs up. Scrappy Pirate says nerds. Border Prince says men of culture paint Urukai plebs paint Marines. No. Me, Mr. Personality. By the way, guys, check out a Border Prince on YouTube if you want some good lore videos as well. He's been on this channel. It was a long time ago. I need to have him back. We'll talk some Warhammer again. But he does lore videos about Warhammer 40K, and he does them really well. Mr. Personality, Sargons, when's the next D&D Crusaders campaign? An orange sea lion, LGTB on flamers is because they can't explode on hit. Rick Nikita, read that one. The goon.life, trying so hard to grift on the grifter, but YouTube apparently does not like the description of my clothing brand, site name, or discount code. We'll put in a regular chat. Username is site name. There you go, guys. You could have checked that out earlier today. Eric Winberg, very intellectual. Hail Az and Sargon. Gurn Raptor. Speaking of space furries, has everyone seen the Furry Crusade videos from Flash Gets? Yes, they're so fucking good. Some of the greatest animated 40K content ever released. P.S. Hail the 13th Legiones Astartes. Yes. 13! Squishy Hunter says, Laud Dem Rangs. Vinny Neutral. Howdy, Nick. It's been a while since I've tuned into a stream due to a busy schedule. However, if it's no issue, I'd like to ask if GoFundMe links are still allowed in Super Chats. Thanks and cheers. You can't send the link. People are free to Super Chat what they want. I tend to not, I try not to encourage GoFundMe links in Super Chats because it's hard to do, and I can't endorse the GoFundMe unless I know what it is. I tend to have to know the person or know the cause specifically. And so I get kind of uncomfortable. I mean, people are free to send them, but I don't do a big endorsement of them because I can't know what they are. Kelly Nicklin, loving that 3 of my favorite YouTubers are painting together. I love building and painting dungeons, caverns, and terrains for my 7 and 9-year-old sons. Oh, I bet that's cool. Crusader Saracen, hey, Nick, ask Sargon about Prey. Adam Trapp, The Emperor Protects. TD, I remember a girl who smiled at me when getting off the bus in 2014. Core memory right there. Sean, hey, Nick, how much did you have to drink yesterday to get through that spurg? It was a lot. Was listening to it through my headphones at work. Being British sucks. Sujad, Magnus is 40K's Tim Pool. Civil War. Aquatic Animal Armaments. I got 2 old compliments on Monday. It made my week. It does. The Iron Omega. The Sons of Horus coming out of the warp is actual canon, Nick. They were adopted instantly by the Black Legion brothers till the end. Rita Castillo. Teodoro Nick, much heart, El Centro, California. Gracias. Hey, thank you, Rita. Also, Rita sent, love you, Nick, and this chat. Again, these were earlier today. KF says it was a masterpiece. Thank you, Nicholas. Oh, you're welcome. Bad Weather Biker. Duncan looked like a young Christopher Eccleston cosplaying as Geddy Lee's younger brother. I'm going to do unbreaded once I finish the painting super chats, which we're coming up to. Then I'll do unbreaded. Then I'll finish out the super chats for this stream. Then we'll be done. That's the show layout for the rest of the night. Starlaw. WOTC Spelljammer Monkey Race had a disease called racist. Oh, good. Aiken, 200 years ago, puberty blockers created eunuchs. Eve Barlow's Rotten Crotch says, all women want from a man is honesty until they are told they have a fadge like a 50 caliber exit wound. Whew. Damn it, I wasn't ready for that. That was good. Damikazi, question for Carl. How is Brexit going? Has Thunderfoot's worst fears come to pass? Is everyone falling apart at the seams? I just haven't heard anything about it at all recently. Me either. I haven't heard anything about Brexit in a while. HP Lefty just read through the new Wikipedia entry for Kiwi Farms. Now that is a fair and unbiased piece. Oh, is it? Is it really? Padishah Emperor Shaddam something. Says the Sam Hyde video on Lotus Eaters recently is absolutely hilarious. I did not know about the delightful rabbit hole. Be nice to your mum. Silva Luca. Yiffing is furry slang for fornication. Ask V. Yiffin hell, furry. Marmer 132, 1776. Jane Doe, I feel like I have dated Drex now. An ex's roommate said, didn't you and ex date for 3 months? Me, lol, yes. Try to tell him that, though. Hashtag just talking / hanging out. Oh, just talking and hanging out. There you go. UKLSA, making banana bread and drinking. Loving the conversation. God, I want some banana bread. Do you put... You better put some fucking nuts in those banana bread. What degenerates in the chat? We're going to do it. Nuts or no nuts in your banana bread? Here comes the poll. Nuts or no nuts in banana bread? Nuts, no nuts. Here we go. See what the chat says. The poll is there. Vote nuts or no nuts in your banana bread. Kalinka Pavlova, some people who are correctly against child marriage are also totes wrongly okay introducing sex concepts to kids under 12. Like what? Yeah, they're so fucking weird. As we stated on the stream earlier, anyone who wants unassailable access to your children or unsupervised access to your children, anybody who wants access to your children without your knowledge or consent, no thank you. No thank you. I've got a hammer for you. No nuts and use Pam baking spray. What the fuck is wrong with you? Sea Monkey says Destiny watching your video with Duncan. Should have him on. Yeah, so I said during the painting stream, Destiny invited me on to his show, but he invited me like 12 minutes before I would start the painting stream. Otherwise, I would have gone on happily to talk to him about the thing, but maybe I'll have Destiny on sometime. Could be interesting. Jackson Kai, anyone who thinks they should be able to make medical choices for children without consulting the parents should have all their own medical and financial decisions made by that child's parents. There you go. Josh Krushke, thoughts on Texas defense or the he needed killing based on Carico versus Commonwealth Kentucky. Understand if not for YouTube. Look, the he needed killing defense is literally what will happen if the justice system doesn't do its job. Because eventually, and it's intended, by the way, by the founders. This is something that people don't understand. The reason that you have a jury, you don't get a jury of your peers, by the way. You get a local jury. jury of your peers is a product of the class system. And so you got a jury of your peers because if you were a noble, you were judged by nobles. If you were a peasant, you were judged by peasants. And there were reasons why you wouldn't want nobles judging peasants and why you wouldn't want peasants judging nobles, right? Like there's some just intuitive ideas about why those would be potentially problematic. But the whole concept of a jury being local to the area where the crime is committed is because the community gets to determine how their community is policed. And no matter what the law is, at the end of the day, the jury has veto power over the law. They can say, not guilty. They can't. Well, I mean, they can make someone guilty. And then in theory, the appeal system repairs that. There isn't an appeal from an unreasonable not guilty verdict from a jury. Once the jury is set to the task of deciding the fate of the person, if they say not guilty, even if they're 100% wrong, doesn't matter. Even if he just walked up, murdered the guy in broad daylight, and then teabagged his dead corpse and said, "Inshallah, brother," or whatever, like whatever they say, I don't know. Like if they do that and the people want that in their community, they can say not guilty all day. That was design. That's a design. That's a feature. That's not a bug. Community gets to police things. So the he needed killing defense is when a community's like, yeah, I mean, he might have violated the law, but fuck, aren't we all better off? They can do that. They can't starve you, says Mr. Ricado. I won't be able to hear you read my chat until tomorrow. However, I came to let you know that the White Council is not pleased with you telling Drex and Lead about how we keep our homes cold. The High Chancellor wants to speak with you. Oh, no, not the High Chancellor. Dullahan, I'm reminded of a Warhammer Vermintide quote. You should never grade evils, for if one is the worst, you might be tempted to kinship with the least. Oh, that's a good fucking quote. Johnny Stoffel, okay, but does tickling your kids violate the non-aggression principle? Yes. Yes, it does. They should be able to use lethal force against you. Liberty or death. I think so many unacceptable things have become acceptable that when you present some people a line in the sand, they can't process why there's a line. I am Warwolf. Love the stream, guys. By the way, Sargon, do you know what happened to Louis Laveau? Did something happen to Louis Laveau? I haven't talked to that guy in a long time. Based Ape. Well, this is an interesting crossover episode. What's up, boys? Stephanie Tam. I watched the stream last night with the Twitch chat in the background. It was interesting that mods ban chat members just for showing unbreaded. Oh, dude, once you get in the habit of banning people from your chat for anything, the amount of stuff that you will then justify banning people for is everything. Like it becomes a limitless thing so quickly. They're like, oh, well, we banned them for saying the N-word, so now we're going to ban them because they just don't like the streamer. Well, okay. I never thought it was good business to ban people. Like, they're like porn bots and stuff that have come through that have been banned. But like just in general, it's like, I don't know, banning people just doesn't seem like the best practice to me. Am I looking for someone to clerk for me? Well, I'm not doing legal work, so clerking for me would be the easiest gig in the world, but it wouldn't be very exciting. Paul Weaver, these grooming freaks are surprisingly naive. I don't think they understand hierarchy. They may be monsters, but mess with my child and they'll discover what truly awful things exist in the mind of man. Zaid Comics, yo, Nick, was great meeting you at Matsuri. Are you going to any other cons this year? I doubt it. Hope everyone checks out our new book shipping next month, CG Vacation. If you like hot babes and comics, then you need it. There you go. I don't know of any conventions I'd be going to off the top of my head. Maybe, but I can't think of any. I tend to only go where I'm invited for like anime conventions because there are certain places where if I showed up, even with a ticket, they would tell me to leave. And I'm not going to fucking make a trip somewhere and have someone tell me to go away, like, because I don't want to waste my time. So if an anime convention wants to have me, or really any kind of convention wants to have me as a speaker or a guest, or even just like wants me to come to their convention, they let me know that I'm like safe to come there and like enjoy the con, then that's what I need to know. But otherwise, I don't have like particular desires to go to conventions either. It's not like I'm not a convention junkie personally, but I have fun at them though. Rogue, one of the many ways to get to eat a bullet in Minecraft, declaring one has access to another's child, regardless of the parent's clear objections. Nick F., your Brit-bong debater unironically complained that science was political in its funding while believing that everyone should unironically follow the science. Cognitive dissonance galore. That's a great point. Darren Haviland says, love She-Bulk. Soul Fiend. Well, Ramsey did feed meat to vegans, so that's props to him. Scuba Dan, Nick, I've got a big test next Monday and reserve duty later this month on the Lebanon border, and I'm too old for another war. I'd love a blessing of luck and safety. P.S. You guys should stream Darktide together. Oh, God, I want to play Darktide so bad. Okay, we'll do a little bit more to Scuba Dan, and then we're almost, we got one more. Wait, no. Weird. It fucked up the order. But we're almost through these painting ones. To Scuba Dan, best of luck to you on your big test, but more importantly on your reserve duty. May the Warhawks in charge, bumbling through their leadership positions, keep us the fuck out of any more wars. Just bring our boys and I guess women home as much as possible, as fast as possible, and stop sending them off to die for someone else's conflicts. Cheers. God, it's a good fucking bottle. Saint Chef. Why did you ask who the best chef is? I keep seeing my name get highlighted because YouTube is stupid. Let's see. Painting copium. I like this. Oh, wait, no. Rickard Remelin. I like the Swedish chef. Joe Sargon is still alive. Yes, he is. Christ. He hasn't aged a day. Nice work getting mullered and eviscerating that toolbox academic last night. Hey, thank you. Kyle Miller. Sargon, when are you going on Timcast? Oh, God. Simulation 115 question. I know the stream is focused on you guys, but would you be interested in reviewing viewers' submissions of painted models? We typically, on those painting streams, I don't know if you'll ever see this, but if people send them to us, like in DMs or whatever, sometimes we'll pull them up. It's always amazing to see other people's work because it's so much fucking better than mine. Ass Crush'em says Kay's cooking smashes all of them. No one important. Thank you so much for last night's stream. I looked like a madman laughing at your jokes while driving or on break. Besides conversations, I haven't laughed like that in a while. Keep being you, brother. Hey, thank you. Texas P12 says chili has no beans. I largely agree. I didn't describe a chili, but I don't know what to call chili with beans though, but I do like the dish. But chili has no beans. Chili con carne is a mix of chili powders and beef, or chili peppers and beef. That's what chili con carne is, and I love it very, very much. But I also like, as a completely different thing, whatever it's called, it's a bean with chili, like or chili with beans, but it's a different dish. It's just a stew, basically. It's not chili with beans. It's not the same thing. Because it's got other shit in there too. If you make chili, like actual chili, and then you add beans to it, what you have done is made bullshit. But if you make chili with beans with like some non-spicy peppers, like a bunch, like this hearty like stew, that's a different dish. And it's also very good, but it's not chili. Chili with no beans is a fucking sloppy Joe. Or to use ground beef for your chili, Mandy? What's wrong with you? What are you doing? Stop this. Next. Cold War Mech, the true answer to DSP is 2 multiplied by the number of years he has been on YouTube. Battle Elf, I want a Bat Soup Girl and Monkeypox Man series. Oh, Bat Soup Girl and Monkeypox Man, that'd be good. Sarlucian, check out Amber King on your Warhammer 40K content. Check out the Amber King on your Warhammer 40K content. Okay. Phil Moore, Destiny, just got done watching your whole debate last night, was laughing a lot. I'm glad he was. All right. You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
I'm ready!
That's right. Trick or treat, motherfucker. Here we go. Go the fuck away. All right, let me get the random number generator for this. $24. Oh, we got an early page. Some of these are all right. I don't think this page is going to disappoint. I don't think this page is going to disappoint. Oh, let me check. Let me test something here. What the fuck does this sound like? What does this sound like? Oh, whoa. It sounds terrible. I hate it. We're gonna just skip that. We're gonna skip that. We'll figure. I gotta play more with this Roadcaster. I just haven't had time to sit down and like do all the features yet. All right, here we go. Page 24. Page 24 of the Daily Unbreaded. Together, it's a cult that ignores Binger. It's a fucking orgy. It's disgusting. They are the enemies of Binger. Smash the Audi into a power line, Binger. You act like everybody doesn't talk. You act like everybody doesn't think. You philosophers act like you invented thinking. You act like you the only people who think. You act like your thoughts are valuable. As you put it, words that people don't use, and you say it to each other and act like the rest of the world is beneath you. Then you say some shit that everybody probably know, but in words that can't knock you down for. As you hit it in some bullshit, you pretended you was teleporting. You pretended you was harvesting the fucking energy of the sun. You acted like you solved the mystery of life or some shit. All you did was ramble about what some words did. Then you called that shit semantics analysis of the whatever the fuck, and told a bunch of other unworthy fucks that it was philosophy. Philosophy should be about a big shit, and big shit that everybody cares about, not small shit that no one knows what the fuck you just said. Shit like time travel, shit like immortality, shit like universes and fixing your life to a powerful degree. Not shit like analyzing the word us, I, we, and it do. Not analyzing bullshit. These so-called philosophers get lost studying the meaning of syllables while Binger out here living in reality. Fuck the man who tried to put brackets around Binger. Put some brackets around your blood and clot yourself to death. Not coming up with shit that no one gives a fuck about so you can run and grab drinks with another unworthy man after the talk where no one from the hood understands why the
fuck you got called a philosopher and not someone hooked on phonics? Bitch, you hooked on phonics. You never did or said shit. Weak as fuck. Can't explain why it matters to anybody except a few nerds who hide from the world and reality. Those are your people as you get drunk together at your retreats and conferences. You hide until they summon you to a hotel. How is that professional? Binger are born and sentenced to an unworthy education. Going to school for Binger is like getting locked up. You might get into a nice program compared to other shit, but you are still stuck with someone else telling you what to think, how to breathe, and how your life is gonna go. After that shit, Binger is still stuck keeping their heads down and taking orders. Binger, that get ahead is the unworthy man system. Don't escape it as long as they are taking orders from unworthy men. They can't do anything for Binger but die. The best thing they can do for Binger is die. The fact that an unworthy man even talks to Binger like we on the same page is a crime worthy of sticking a metal pipe through his skull. The fact that Binger wears suits and try to be nice and explain themselves as a crime against Binger's soul. Binger should really be more violent towards unworthy men. Binger should have killed them all yesterday. Baby videos of Binger don't mean anything. Binger should find the most powerful unworthy man and execute him in public. Binger should hunt down all the strongest seeming and acting unworthy men and explode their lives. Binger should kill the most visible and celebrated unworthy men in public. Binger should be constantly executing unworthy men at an accelerating and expanding an unexpected rate. This is inevitable now. The unworthy man must die, and it's time to start pulling his skeleton apart while he is still screaming. The unworthy man and the drone man must both be eliminated from Binger's life. The drone man ain't shit and cannot be an ally to Binger. Binger really should execute those ones too, just as they look stupid and don't deserve to coexist next to Binger, but act like they motherfucking good at Binger's shit, all the while talking down to Bingers like you didn't. Unbreaded. Oh, whoops. There we go. That was our daily unbreaded. Woo. That was our daily unbreaded. For those of you who don't know, that is the book Death Sentences by Matthew Harris. Matthew Harris is a PhD from Duke University. He wrote a thesis about genetic racial tribalism, where he believes that black culture is ingrained in black people genetically, which is why I found Duncan MacLeod very offensive, saying racism was not immutable, but that blackness is a genetic trait, and that black culture is not a culture, but literally a genetic reality, and that it is ingrained in black people, and therefore they should not associate with other tribes or other races because they are lesser than blacks. He wrote this as his thesis. He was then hired by UCLA to teach philosophy to students because they're like, that's a good idea. That's a really good dissertation that you wrote there, sir. This book is not his dissertation. This book has the same themes as his dissertation with more N-words. But there you go. All right. On to today's chats, and then we're going to wrap up the show. Did I read this one? The squid. I didn't read this one yet. If I was in college when they were forcing the room scans, I would make sure to be in the scan without clothes and a giant FU. I don't like being spied on, and they will learn real quick. I have zero obligation to wear clothes in my home. Nice. Nick, you only lost about 200 plus viewers. One thing that someone mentioned is a lot of people do wait for the unbreaded, and then once it's read, they peace out after that. So it's not always like people being scared away. Some people are just, they're like, all right, well, once we get through unbreaded, then I can go to bed with the super. They don't stay for the super chats. Richard Grubber says F. Lucas and his Troonshine. Misery's Company, R.E. Kiwi Farms. If children are property of parents, it acts as a barrier against child labor, correct? Yes. In some ways. Mario Carter 13, He's never been looser. Thanks, Lady McLeod. Damn. Goofy Boots. Hi, my husband's birthday is today. He actually mentioned our anniversary on your stream last month. Can you give him a birthday shout out? Ryan. Hey, Ryan, the husband of Goofy Boots. Happy birthday to you. I hope you have a fantastic time. And I hope Goofy Boots does something nice for you on your day. Maggie Ellis. 1, Medicare scares the crap out of me. Why? 2, I think I'm in love with Medicare. Why? 3, newly coined word via the Chudcast today. Troonshine. Cheers, good lad. I want to say Troonshine was not created by Medicare. Troonshine was created on Kiwi Farms. I mentioned it on the show the other day, and I laughed endlessly at it. But much props to Jim. I want to go back. I got to see what Jim's video was today. I can't wait to watch the replay. Valkyrie Art. Hate how school curriculum is being... Oh, yeah. Oh, guys, I'm about to spend 4 days at the family camp not doing shows. But here's the thing about family camp. My kids go to bed, but I still go to sleep at like 4 or 5 in the morning every day. And that doesn't just change because I'm at camp. I have so much. I'm gonna bring my noise canceling headphones. I'm gonna download a bunch of fucking YouTube streams. I'm gonna bring a book. Oh my God. Ambulance Chaser said Medicare found out about the term Troonshine during his stream. He thought it was hilarious. Yeah, well, he's right. It was hilarious. Same thing with me. I found out about it on my stream and I was like, what? Oh yeah. Bring booze. And now it's a Christian camp. I don't think there's any prohibition on it, but I typically don't bring liquor there. Valkyrie Art. Hate how school curriculum is being switched with sexuality, gender identity by the multiplying amounts of woke teachers. I pray for the next generation. Me too. See Hoodie, CL Hunter, Duncan McCunt. Okay, that was good. That was good. John Cook. Ricada Law, I saw where you were going, getting him to berate you for not needing evidence to support your presuppositions and for disregarding contradictory evidence, but it didn't quite connect. Yeah, doesn't have to connect on everything for me. My thing was just watching his fucking face when I said I don't care. Also, I want to point out something really important about that particular comment and on that particular subject. Duncan McLeod said that all of the research, all of it, says that puberty blockers are completely safe and have been for 200 years, and that there are no contradictory studies. And I said, I don't believe that. And he said, based on what evidence? And I said, based on it's ridiculous. All right. The idea that puberty blockers have no lasting side effects or no negative side effects on children is absurd. It's a fucking dumb statement to make. And you could tell me all day that there's every study ever done says that that's true. And I will still say, I disagree. However, I want to point that was the disagreement in the face of science going with my intuition. My intuition was right, though. My intuition was actually correct because that's not true. What he said was a lie. What he said, or he was mistaken. But there are plenty of studies out there that suggest that puberty blockers actually do have possible negative side effects and consequences, because of course they do. When you stunt a biological process for years at a time, you can't tell me that it's going to be the same thing. That's just silly. But so, yeah, I mean, I guess it didn't connect, but it was also, his position was so unreasonable that if it were true, I would assume that the science is being curated and approved. Like, that's how ridiculous his assertion was. And if all of science, everybody said, no, by every measure, there is no harm in preventing a child from having puberty from 12 to 18, which is the scenario that we talked about.
I would still say it's wrong and that there are negative consequences. I would still say it 100% because of fucking course there are. So yeah, I mean, I get that it maybe didn't connect, but here's what I couldn't do. I could not on the fly and wasn't in the mood to on the fly pull up, find a study, quickly read it, understand that it specifically says there's negative impacts of puberty blockers or whatever. I know a bunch of other people found them, like on the farms, they had posts of them, but I wasn't doing that. I wasn't going and grabbing evidence for my debate from other places. I wasn't Google fooing in the live thing. I just said, no, I don't believe it. Well, what evidence? I don't know. I don't have like evidence. I just don't accept it. And here's the best part. Even if I'm wrong, I'm allowed to disagree with the science. You get to do that. We always get to do that. And we have to always get to do that. You get to say, nah. Based on what? Based on fucking nah, man. But so yeah, that's, but I wasn't going to fall for the trap. Oh, show me the study. And then him be able to, like, I'm not a geneticist or a biologist. I'm not going to argue genetics and biology with someone who purports to be a geneticist. I'll just take them at their word. It's fine. It doesn't matter for the argument. In the same way, he shouldn't have tried to argue law with me because every time he did, he got blown out because he just doesn't know. It's not his field. But I'm not going to get into an evidence and a quality of evidence debate with this person over a field that I'm not an expert in. Very silly. Random Blaze says, science also said that lead was safe for consumption and to be around. Same thing with asbestos until we knew better. This idiot also admitted to wanting to bypass parental rights to give kids drugs. Exactly. Yeah, Nicholas Cruiser, I agree with you. That's what it seems. I don't, but I'm not, again, there's a real quick way to get dragged into a fucking trap is to argue his genetic credentials when I don't have any, or to argue about the quality and sufficiency of evidence in a field that I don't know. And it was all unnecessary. Like, I know for like the internet to dissect it is great. And that's the other thing, in these debates is that, yeah, everybody watching is going to go and just check the claim. And when they check the claim and it turns out that it's bullshit, well, then it won't matter if I pointed it out or not. But yeah, that's a way to waste a whole bunch of time and get into some weird qualification thing when you can just say, I don't accept it. And then all he can say is, well, why? With the science. And you go, yep, don't accept it. And then what's he going to do? Go online like he did today. He's like, he ignored the science. Well, but actually, Duncan, you got the science completely wrong. So that's great. And people have been pointing that out to him. Now, I mean, he'll ignore it, but it doesn't matter. Other people won't. All right, next we've got Mr. Hammer. Wait, no, the Buzz CJC. Let's be real. Was the fridge delivery issue because they only spoke Somali or Spanish? Spanish. This one was Spanish. Mr. Hammer, would you want Verlicify on your podcast? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know what we talk about. I'm open to a lot of people on the podcast, on the show, or whatever it is, as long as we have a subject that's interesting to talk about. I mean, that's the main, and time and all that stuff, but mostly the subject. D. Donovan, don't forget Duncan's corpse in your deep freezer. Laughing Dog, it's so hilarious that a lawyer has a problem with things that companies can't do because of lawyers. Next level cell phone. Wait, what? Oh, yes, the fucking freezer thing. Or the water line. Yeah, bullshit. ANN, I thought Destiny DM'd you on his stream. He checked if you streamed every day and tried to get you on Discord. Yeah, he did. It was, again, 12 minutes before my painting stream with Az and Sargon that I'd planned over a week ago was starting. So I couldn't go on Destiny's show. I got the DM 5 minutes before the show. So he sent it 12 minutes before the show started. I got it 5 minutes. I didn't have time to go on. But I would a different day. Bobby0081, what do you know about the Ford F-250 lawsuit? Nothing. Didn't even know it existed. Mr. Hammer, guest Verlicify. That would be the perfect follow-up. The fandom minimalist. Can you send well wishes for my oldest daughter, Jenna? Tomorrow night is her first time with her middle school band playing for the football game. Well, I hope she does really well, and I hope they have nice cohesion, good timing, and are able to follow their conductor very well. Adrian Hansen, just wanted to say I've never seen you so unbreaded. In 30 years of Highlander fandom, I never thought I'd see the day that Duncan MacLeod got unheaded. Congrats. Hope you enjoyed your quickening. Oh, I did. Julia Getman, have you tried Lagavulin? Oh, yeah. Lagavulin 8, 12, 11, and 16. All great. Looking to try and find a 25-year-old plus bottle at some point. They're just hard to locate. Mr. Hammer says this reads exactly like what happened to Verlicify. The Gentleman Sausage. Imagine being named Duncan and your last name isn't McCockner. What a waste. Panzer Dude. Hello, Nick, you gorgeous mod. Please, PS Goody is Fig. Yes, that's true. The Law Patrol. His Holiness Pope Rackets, King of Mass Debating. You made a mess of Duncan can in fact die. Also, the bottle of Blanton's was really good. Oh, man, I'm so jealous of you. Mr. B, that mofo lied about the effects of HRT and biological development. Yes, he did. Scorpio says for yesterday. Snuggle Struggle says Rackets. You also forgot to talk to Duncan about the campaign of targeted harassment done by Keffels and crew. The blatant hypocrisy at work. Half forgot, half avoided because they justify it as revenge or retaliation for what happened to them. They always will fall back on that. Well, after what happened to Keffels, you could do all this stuff. And they don't care who the target is. They don't care if they have evidence for the target. It doesn't matter. Once they are the victim, they're justified in all of their actions. That's what they would say. I mean, that's the answer. Thunder Kid. Today, 8/31 was my 33rd birthday, and I got promoted. Can I get a toast from the Pop Master General? Thanks for all you do. You inspire so many. Hope Master General. Yes. Trying to figure out. I'm going to open this other bottle of Alamo Bourbon, Black Label. This stuff's. I'm a big fan of this. I was sent 4 bottles of whiskey from Alamo Distilling Company in Texas. This small batch Black Label bourbon that they sell is really, really good. I don't know how much it costs or anything, but and again, it was sent to me for free. So full disclosure on that, it's still really fucking good. And I would unironically buy it. And I would recommend other people to buy it as well. And I'm not paid to say that. So cheers. Cheers to Alamo Bourbon, but cheers to Thunder Kid. Happy 33rd birthday and a promotion. Just more proof that as you get older, arbitrarily people assign you more import. May that continue long into your later working years. May this be the step towards something even bigger. Cheers, buddy. Phil Moore. Everyone should watch Destiny's EFAP of your debate he did today. Was hilarious. Called the guy out as a compulsive liar within 5 minutes. I heard it was good. I don't have time to watch my own debate, much less someone else's review of it. But maybe I didn't watch it this weekend. The Real Hydro PX. I'm surprised Cecil has not committed seppuku because of how Anna straight up shits on him. That dude is such a simp. He shits on her pretty hard too. Zero Incarnate, 40-year-old just got back from the bar, got hit on by a 22-year-old black server, went out of her way to tell me I look like someone famous and I'm cute. Coom, go get it, buddy. Get that butt. Kalinka Pavlova. Nick, why is it? Wait, read that one. Madcore Mofo, just watching your stream from yesterday, mate. It was fire. Loved it. So did my chat. Lol. So many audio clips I'm going to cut out and make audio notifications from them. Epic. We'll have fun with that, man. Eric Winberg. Hey, Nick, got paint on your hands? Not today. Not today. Kept it all in the pants. Colonel Cole. The Constitution needs to be changed so that winners of the states for the electoral vote should be the winner of the plurality of counties to stop tyranny of cities. Any idea how we could do that? You'd probably have to do it on the state level because the states have the power to determine. I mean, you could always just make an amendment that says that at the federal level. I mean, I guess that's the easiest way. Just a federal amendment that says that states will do plurality of counties or whatever. That's the way they do it. But you would have to change the Constitution because the states have the authority to set how they pick their electors currently under the Constitution. So you'd have to have a constitutional amendment. It just says basically what you said. Nathan Garonsky, these people are always projecting their own self-hatred and fear onto others. The moral preening is a cope to conceal how broken they are inside. Crusader Saracen, quote, you try to destroy my income and show, and yet you dare to ask to come on it. Where's your shame? Where's your shame in the face of Allah? Matt Field says, Troon shine prohibition. Zero Incarnate main take. American humor is supreme. MD, how much would you drink in an abortion debate versus Styx? I don't know Styx's position on abortion. I assume he takes the position of the government has no say in determining whether a woman can have an abortion or something like that, just based on the context of the question. But I don't know his position fully, and I have no idea. We'd have to see how it went. But I think my debate versus Styx would probably be very friendly, as opposed to debates versus weirdos, which are not friendly. Lynn says, Nick, First They Came by Martin Niemöller. Yep, great. First They Came for X, Y, and Z. First They Came for Alex Jones. An idiot with an opinion. You should teach constitutional law, like in your kids' co-op. Oh, for Bronca? You know, it's interesting. An idiot with an opinion. Are you a kid from one of my classes? Crusader Saracen, you dare inflict that fat runway model on us? Where's your shame? Where's your shame in the face of Allah? I have none. Jack Murphy says, I love you, Nick. Do you love me? I want you. Yes, Jack. Hephaestus Rising. Mr. R. Gundam. Iron-Blooded Orphans. Haven't watched it. If you haven't, for shame, best arguably Gundam series to date. That's the one that Yellow Flash cried watching. Like a baby. Sean Lambert, awesome. He says, hey, man, thanks for helping me out the other day with your encouraging words. Had the best day of my life the next day. Good, go get it, brother. Awesome. Great to hear that. Dank Count. Ricada, tell yo people that Minnesota doesn't have state Second Amendment constitutional rights. Yeah, I mean, half and half. We have concealed carry and we're fairly gun friendly, but we don't have constitutional carry. And we don't have a full castle doctrine, I don't think. Eric Miller, we don't have standard ground either, I think. Eric Miller, what would happen if we made the privilege to drive a right? I think it would at least screw over the DMV, which is great. Oh yeah, it would be a disaster for the government. Colin Shaw, Indie Games, says, the Law and Order SVU clip is amazing. I recently used it thanks to you at work in a completely professional way. Honest. So thank you. Amazing shooter. It would be hilarious to see you react to some of the old Onion News comedy skits back when being edgy was the norm. Yeah, it's a real fucking depressing thing. Like Cracked and the Onion all became just fucking bitches. Not applicable says the left invented the wall. They always genocide. Let's see. Oh, shit. Okay. I have to figure out some other way to manage these because the chat window is just overloading the memory on fucking Chrome constantly. Oh, shit. Okay, not applicable says not sympathizing with something isn't hate, though. I agree. Oh, shit. Ulfendar Berserker. I missed this one earlier. Says, hail, my brother, you have gained my respect and admiration. You definitely won that. Definitely. And it was enjoyable watching you win. Here's some change to fund the grifting. All I ask is for some hashtag unbreaded. We did get to unbreaded. Kidda says you need to look at the latest 2 Steam news updates for the game Domina right now. Lol, Dominus and done. I promise it's good for a laugh. He also says, follow up on the Domina thing. Check out a Steam game faces backlash for adding a bizarrely sexist anti-mask rant to patch notes. Mashable to see why he's getting review bomb. Based AF. Wait, what? Okay. Domina patch notes. Is this today? No. Let me find the here we go. Dominus and done. Wait, so done is on August 6th? All right, let's take a quick peek at these. I don't know what they are. So here's done. This one was on August 6th. So it says access denied. This review was previously flagged by a developer, but that has been cleared by a moderator. You cannot flag it again unless the reviewer changes the review. Done. Steam publishes dozens of fraudulent reviews of our game, and we flag them as such. Our flags are removed, and despite any evidence, the fraud review stands. No evidence is ever offered that we've done anything wrong with DLC, but the claims are echoed for eternity on B-level gaming blogs, just to be used as ammunition on Twitter. Circle jerks. Disgusting. Now we can't even flag the lying reviews as fraudulent because nameless, cowardly Steam moderators who we cannot interact with have final editorial control. How can we have a working relationship with a platform that actively wants us off that platform? At this point, it is doubtful that Domino will receive future updates on Steam. If that upsets you, I encourage you to talk to Gabe Newell. His ship is sinking and he doesn't give a fuck. Integrity is key. Centurion, adapt, adopt, improve. And that's at Big Nick is the guy. Here we go. 2022-813 Steam mods banned me from Domina forum for a week, ostensibly for strong language, but if you hold a mirror up to the world, 80% of them will throw a brick at you. Exactly 0 human beings have the balls to put their name to the ban. Cowards, clowns. What a stupid company to work at. It must be so sad collecting so much money from people who actually create something and then banning their opinions. I wonder how many stomach ulcers are at Steam Valve, how much Prilosec is prescribed to them. 0 cocks among them, that's obvious. What a pity. Okay. And then he's got a video there, I guess. I'm not going to watch that. But here's the new update. Dominus, dead name Domina. Oh, shit. Please respect our pronouns during this difficult transition. Uh-oh. We're out of ideas, mentally unstable, totally degenerate, and desperate for clout. Let's pretend we're a completely different game to regain relevance. Dead name Domina. Please don't mention it anymore. We only mention it here to say don't mention it anymore. It's totally normal to change the sex of a video game and not confusing to anybody. Please do not be a bigot. If you are confused, please simply stop being confused and remember that Domina doesn't exist and never did, but Dominus does exist and always has. You just didn't know you were playing a man who was dressed as a woman. But now that we reveal it to you, you have no right to feel deceived. The same way the poor drunk dudes who transvestites like Keffels had sexual intercourse with without disclosing that they were a man have no right to feel wronged. And you're a bigot for being confused or even mentioning something like that happened, let alone having an opinion on it. Dominus 1.3.25 beta fixed. Bestiarius disappears after applying cards. Potentially fixed. Audio stacking bug when brutal fights are enabled. If it's still there, please post for him any steps to replicate it. Stop destroying the innocence of children by lying to them about basic biology. Stand up for what you believe. Ask God for courage. Well, damn. Oh, shit. There you go. That's, okay, look at this shit. All reviews, mostly positive, 8306. 77% of the 8,306 user reviews for this game are positive. Recent reviews, 34% of the user reviews in the last 30 days are positive. This product has experienced one or more periods of off-topic review activity. Based on your preferences, the reviews within these periods have been excluded from this product's review score. There you go. There you go. They're getting review bombed. They're getting review bombed for the fucking truth. The game is called Domina. It's on Steam, but you can probably procure it somewhere else that's not Steam if you want. I've never seen it. It's something about take charge of a gladiator school in ancient Rome and test your strength in lightning-fast, bloody battles with pixels and raunchy insults. Wrangle politicians and win favor from the gods to achieve victory in the arena. Elevate your family name with success or starve to death in obscurity and defeat. There you go. You can check that out if you're interested. Thank you, Kitta, for that one. We got a big chat from Toxic Brood. The difference between Nick and Duncan when it comes to proper 12. Nick doesn't think it is a good whiskey and would prefer not to drink it. Duncan is always ready to enjoy himself a proper 12. Also, Duncan doesn't know that it is a whiskey. Wrong. Peter Brooks read that one. Fitness trainer. Hey, Nick, I sent you a DM on Twitter. Got the full 8+ year story on Duncan's online history if you're interested. Oh, shit. That sounds terrible. Actual Boomer. Remember, you can vote once per hour on the Grifties. You can. Felzu. Puberty blockers weren't invented till the 1970s. The fake Highlander was full of shit. Bo Beats. Thank you for the donation. Eclipse Warlord. Hey, Raggeds just finished yesterday's stream. That guy goes on about the English language and ignores the definitions of female and woman. See Goody. Nuts and banana bread, not on a futa. Hashtag no balls. Let's end the poll here and see what we got. 58% say nuts. 41% say no nuts. Man, I don't know. Nuts and banana bread are delicious. Mario Carter 13. Amazing Atheists. I love nutting with bananas. Mandy Karavicius says, I put nuts in See Goody's weed brownies. Bo Beats, thanks for the donation again. Cledge Fenrir, have you ever seen Flash Gets Warhammer Marines versus Furry Shorts? Think there's 4 of them. Yes, there needs to be 4,000 of them. They're so fucking great. Marmor132, he blocked someone in his Twitch chat today for posting a link proving him wrong today while you were painting. John Cook says, I thought you were trying to make him look like the hypocrite when he didn't evaluate/confirm claims against you and Kiwi Farms and disregarded contrary evidence. I don't know if my thought was that deep. Maybe. I genuinely don't remember. I know that what I was saying about the puberty blockers is that he was saying there's no negative side effects and that all the science supports it. And I say, I disagree. That's all I know is that any deeper motivation I might have had, I don't remember. Let's see. Bobby 0081. Ford was sued for $1.7 billion for an F-250 rolling over. It's going to be hard to justify that damage award. Yasu Fox, are you at all concerned about Keffels ruining your lawyer career for defending Kiwi Farms? Nope. Jack Murphy, Nick said he loves me. When are we dating, Nick? We are already dating, Jack, and you've known this for a long time. I can't believe you're doing this. Sean Lambert II, you're a real person and you're in the right fight. We need more role models like you. Keep your head in the game and keep Josh afloat. Thanks so much, bro. Pope Rackets touched me. He says, as an altar boy and being neglected by the Pope, it is sad how bigoted he was. He won't fuck Blair because politics. What about altar boys or religion too much? Kiddo, we need an interview with base Domina Dev. If the Domina Dev wants to come on, I just don't know who he is. I would gladly talk to him. Tato Chip says, I will draw you and Drex as anime cat girls after my university exams. Everyone follow drawing Svin, S-V-I-N, and please send feedback on the art. That sounds terrible. Thank you for doing that. Hopefully you find your 41% moment. I'm joking. Zalcor07, last night's debate could have been an interesting discussion about how much illusion of authority do adults really hold over kids. Sadly, what's-his-face only kept arguing from authority and ignorance, and it just turned into a duel of egos. Ended up falling asleep and missed my daily anime watch. Aw. Sorry you didn't enjoy it. All out of Bubblegum says, what's the next big trial you're covering? I don't know. One, I have to find the time that I have for it. There's a couple coming up, but I have to find the time when I can be there every day. And right now that's been a problem. Lately, I've been taking almost daily trips to the Twin Cities, or like 2 to 3 a week, to deal with some shit there. And so that's a hamper on my ability to do daytime streams, but I am looking for another trial to cover that isn't fucking boring. Herman Arminius, Nick, glad to see you survive the night after your bout with the mass pussy slaying martial artist science priest. Now you have ascended from Nick Dolph the Gray to Nick Dolph the White turn shouting red. Hashtag your fellow Poles could have used you 80 years ago. Chanks Atome, quote, of all tyrannies, a tyranny sincerely exercised for the good of its victims may be the most oppressive. It may be better to live under robber barons than under omnipotent busybodies. This is the C.S. Lewis quote. The robber baron's cruelty may sometimes sleep. His cupidity may at some point be satiated. But those who torment us for our own good will torment us without end, for they do so with the approval of their own conscience. Very good. Herman Arminius, read that one. That's it. We're done. We're done for the night, and that wraps up the month of August. Guys, the next time I see you will be in September, but it won't be probably for a couple of days. No, wait, it'll be tomorrow night. What am I talking about? September 1st. We'll see you. Steve Gosney is the guest. We'll be talking about some law topics with a recent case that has some interesting implications. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. Until then, y'all have a good night. Peace. Peace.
Oh, he drinks a fair bit, but you realize that it just helps get his noggin jogging along. With his glass by his side and his kids asleep tight, we'll hear some law-splaining tonight. With his microphone muted, we'll laugh at this boomer until he explains it's all part of the plan. Watch his face become redder as he becomes meta, raging at idiots from Twitter and Erland. From the white shores of Maine to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, his lady is fair, and she handles herself with the grace of one who has borne many children. As the wife of a lawman, she makes sure that he has the time and the place to provide for them there. So pour out an ardbeg, a bow, more of that brogue. The spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear law-splaining tonight. From the white shores of Nam to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we are now. Oh, the guests are all plentiful, from Dante to Drexel. They bring their perspective and spice to the mix. But the reason we're here and the one that we cheer is the one who is showcasing us his career. Get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear law-splaining tonight. From the white shores of Nam to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better for the ones who have passed to make the